Oh, you're in.
All right, hello, Tru Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast poor, you're listening to Tru Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with Tru Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
This is what we said the StreamYard before going.
I'm serious. I'm not going to sit back and take this fucking shit.
It's time for the Saturday morning flagship podcast, your Saturday morning cookout, where we talk about the latest in wrestling news and a lot going on around the wrestling world, not just in the top two promotions. Well, there is some big stuff like Jeff Hardy leaving AEW and showing up already in a new promotion last night at TNA Against All Odds. What's next for Ricochet after his apparent write-off on Monday Night Raw? Where should he sign next? That is the question we will be asking on this edition of the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast, as well as the newest member of the bloodline coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is Tru Heel Heat 281 StreamYard. Eat a D. Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 281, Broken Puma Blood, discussing the latest wrestling news, including Jeff Hardy finishing up his run in AEW and showing up in TNA at last night's Against All Odds pay-per-view. Also, the fallout from Ricochet's possible WWE write-off. Hikuleo leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling to go to WWE and join up with the Bloodline? Recap of this week in wrestling with AEW Dynamite, Rampage, ROH TV, NJPW had a big show with Despe's Invitational on Monday, WWE SmackDown, Raw, NXT Battleground, TNA Impact, and the aforementioned Against All Odds. Plus, we got final predictions for tomorrow's NJPW Soul event, as well as today's WWE Clash at the Castle Premium Live event. And of course, we got matches of the week as well. I am joined by the True Draw himself, 1 week away, and he is back with us, the one and only Josh. How are you doing?
Doing great. Last week I had a busy weekend. I was at Brooklyn Comic-Con selling some art. It's great overall weekend. I got to meet some new people. Got to meet some voice actors. That was fun. So, yeah, look forward to speaking about all the news and then maybe some of the stuff that I missed from last week as well.
Absolutely. You know you're good here on the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. We let you know everything you need to know about the world of wrestling. We cover it all here, so we thank you all. If you're joining us live, we appreciate y'all. If you're also watching us on demand, remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, drop the thumbs up on the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithms and other wrestling fans like yourself to see this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook, you could drop a thumbs up, a heart emoji, an angry emoji, a laughing emoji. However, this week in wrestling made you feel, you can let us know with those emotes. If you're watching us on Twitter, drop the heart, retweet the video so other people can check it out as well. But most of all, if you're watching on any three platforms, we love to interact with all of you in the live chat. So sound off if you will. And of course, if you're feeling generous and you want to give back to what we do here, the best way to do that is to send a super chat donation. Those go a long way to supporting the YouTube channel as well as your contributors that you see on screen with us. We always appreciate the love that you guys give us with those super chat donations. So don't be shy, press the $ and give back to what we do here. Like our good brother, one of our main people in the community, one of our moderators and Patreon backers, the one and only Bala B. He says, I hear Chick-fil-A, very nicely done, is in Glasgow. Hope someone gives him a Glasgow kiss. I still fail to see how Chick-fil-A is supposed to be a babyface coming out of costing Drew in his home country. Home country. However, I think he's not from Glasgow, so it's home country. But I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It was confirmed by bodyslam.net. Our good friend Cassidy Haynes over at the site has confirmed that Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, has been seen in Scotland ahead of Clash at the Castle. So a lot of people believe he's going to show up tonight. Before we get into the predictions, how we always end these flagship podcasts with final predictions for the big shows. What is your yes or no? What is your percent? I'll go 0 to 100, Josh, percentage that we see CM Punk on today's show.
I'm going to go with 200%.
Yes. I'm hoping that it doesn't go, against our good friend Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has worked too hard for this, for fucking this guy to ruin it. Oh, God, he's gonna ruin it. It's gonna ruin the homecoming. But we got a bunch of people already comment in the chat. You guys were here early. We appreciate you for that. We tried to start at 10:05 a.m. Eastern time when our good friend Eric Isaacs put a comment in the chat saying, "Good morning, fellas. Happy Clash at the Castle Day and welcome back to the Impact Zone, brother Nero, aka Mr. Jeffrey Hardy." But damn, StreamYard was giving us the weirdest freaking prompt ever, saying that there's too many people streaming at the time. They need to create more resources to handle it. They said, please give me 30, 60 seconds and try again. And we tried multiple times over a 20-minute period, but we're here now. So that's all that matters, I guess. Fuck you, StreamYard. We're 8 minutes in, so I think I think if you pass the 5-minute threshold, we won't get demonetized for that. So there you go. Fuck you, StreamYard. But anyway, we also got I Love Dogs in the chat. He says, I kind of expect the Hardys on Tuesday on the Battle Royal that we'll talk about later, the 25-man Battle Royal. Okay, 0 to 100, Josh. The Hardys showing up on Tuesday on NXT.
20%.
I would say the Phil Brooks one for Clash at the Castle, I'm at 100%. With the Hardys, I'll put it at 25%. A little higher than Josh, but not that high. And yes, we had a power driver finisher after I let everybody know StreamYard was having technical difficulties. She tried to branch me. As he says, as someone who owns a cellular phone, I know a little something about technology. Try plugging the cord into the socket and see if that works. Thanks, guys. And I branched them back. I am a mutual brancher. I said, as someone who has been using StreamYard for 5 years, I know a little something more. And I know that it can be a little bitch sometimes. So no cords involved. Thanks, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show, guys. We also got in the chat, Belle is with us. Thanks for joining us today. We also got Frantic World in the chat who says, what's up, SP3, Josh, and chat. We appreciate you for joining us. We also got Power Driver Finisher who says, but StreamYard's a jabroni. Indeed. We got some birthday love in the chat from Christopher who changed. Did you change up the picture, or is this your other YouTube account? Because I usually see the purple C for Christopher Leclerc, who says, happy birthday to my favorite superstar, Bailey. Chris is the #1 Bailey fan that we have in our community. So always got to show love to the current WWE Women's Champion, because if we don't show love, WWE sure won't. Just say it. Frantic World says, the way Jeff Hardy left WWE, I don't see him going back to right now. Yeah, I think it would be too soon for Jeff to show up in WWE just yet.
Especially in NXT. He's not going to show up in NXT.
Yeah. We got Belle in the chat who says, I don't know if you're still in the UK. I'm in the UK all summer, so you don't even have to ask that question. I'm here at least until September. I will let y'all know when that changes, but I'm here for the entire summer. She says, I don't know if you're still in the UK, SP3, but I apologize for the hormonal weather. Yeah, it was raining earlier, then it was hot. It did the same thing yesterday. I took my kids to the park, and it rained on the way to the park. Then when we got to the park, it stopped raining. And then when we were walking back from the park, it started raining again. It's so weird. It's so weird here in the UK. The weather is even more bipolar than New York, and that's saying something, because New York goes to extremes of we have really cold winters and we have really hot summers. So
yeah. So like yesterday was hot, right? So yesterday was dry air, and then like around 3-ish, it got like very cloudy. So by the time I left work, it was very cloudy. And then as soon as I was going home, I was about maybe 5 stops away. It started to rain, but then once I got off, it stopped raining a little bit. But then you could hear the thunder and everything outside. So as soon as I get inside the building, I get to my apartment, it just started pouring, and I was like, oh my god! I was so lucky that I just like avoided that. It was like you would think a freaking tsunami hit. And it lasted for about maybe 5-10 minutes, and then it stopped, and you wouldn't even think it rained. Like, you didn't even think that just happened.
Jesus Christ. All over the place. That's New York weather for you. But yes, keep sounding off in the live chat. We love to interact with you guys in the live chat. So thank you for joining us today. And retweet the video, share the video so more people can join us in the live chat and talk about this week in wrestling. But of course, we got to be joined by our third member of the team, the princess of all the true heels. She needs the main event entrance. She has to come out last, like she's the champion. She dictates when she shows up, when she's introduced on the show. The tribal queen,
that's not
Miss Krssi
true.
Love.
Whatever. Good morning. Well, good afternoon to you, SP. Good morning.
She laughing because she knows.
Whatever. Anywho, you were talking about that crazy ass rain we had yesterday. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Lucky you're not here, SP, for that foolishness.
No, I just explained what happened to me yesterday.
Oh.
I literally, it was raining when I walked to the park. Then it stopped when we got to the park with the kids, and then it started raining again when we're walking back, which is a long walk from the park. So yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
well.
it's a few blocks. It's not like New York where a park is like across the street from most of us. It's a walk to go to the big. There is a park near us, but there's a bigger park that the kids can like run around a little bit more on. But my daughter always does one time down the slide and says, "I want to go home." That's lockdown, baby. That's what
when you
happened.
first get to the party, you were like, "Okay, I'm ready to go home now. I seen the person. Now I showed my face. Now I can go home now." It's great stuff. That's it. She's an
Hilarious.
adult, the whole woman.
She is.
That's how
She
we
is
feel.
an adult. She even when I tell her to dance, she lifts up her skirts and starts twerking.
Oh.
I don't
Oh
know.
my
I don't.
God.
Yeah. I blame my Mrs. Cousin because she taught her how to twerk. So
I'm about to say
blame
now,
you.
someone had to teach her that. Like, she didn't just learn that. Like, she didn't learn it from wrestling. Like, because I mean, that's
You damn sure
I
didn't.
hope,
No, no.
I hope she didn't learn that from HBK. 'Cause
Oh God. No, she knows how to properly twerk. But no, no. But she is into wrestling. See, she's like the freaking boogeyman. I said her name and she appears. Say her name and she appears.
She's leaving. Okay, bye.
She just wanted to show up because we said her name.
Hey, Harlem. You're muted, SP. Oh, okay. Sorry.
he's
She got her own phone. Look at you trying to get you on the phone and whatnot.
yeah. I know. I think Kino sees muted because
Okay.
I saw somebody said.
Yeah,
No, I said
yeah. She unplugged my mic, so that's why I was muted.
Oh.
Gotta
Okay.
go.
Bye.
You can't play YouTube videos and get me copyright strike. But yes, as always, you guys are always guaranteed one attack from Harlem a day on these streams, it seems nowadays.
Yep.
But yes, we are here to talk about the latest wrestling news, and we appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all. You're watching us on demand. That's why we start off every flagship podcast with the Tru Heel roll call, shouting out those who supporting us across social media and here on the YouTube channel. Our Tru Heel roll call, our top 3 conversation starters are Tru Heel Trinity. We got Jermaine Packman. Number 2, we got Joe Bellini. And number 1, once again, Stewie John Palmer. Our Patreon backers, we got Bala B, we got Alan Weinstein, the Negro Buck Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, who is in Scotland for Clash at the Castle today. We got also Professor Chris, Austin, Dre, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James, Allen, and Santo. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship, plus much, much more. And yes, I believe in Harlem. I believe in Harlem. Everybody's in a I believe mode because seemingly we're going to get some Joe Hendry in WWE because even commentary is saying that they believe. We also got Terrence Sullivan who says Joe Hendry approves. Yes, he does. He's been on the channel. Check out our interview with Joe Hendry from last week, which may continue my streak because I'll talk about the streak that I talked about on our Dominion 2024 review. I said it to y'all guys when the report first came out that we have a streak over 6 years of us doing interviews, and every year we have interviewed someone that has either signed with WWE, TNA, or AEW thereafter. After we interview them, they immediately sign with the top 3 North American promotions. So, got to brush our shoulder off there. All right, we're going to start off with what we missed. And of course, we'll start off this week with AEW Dynamite, which got hit hard in the ratings this week, going up against Game 3 of the NBA Finals, only doing 681,000 viewers, actually losing in the total viewership to NXT. Despite the 18-49 demo, they did a 0.23 to NXT's 0.22. We'll give you the total viewership for NXT when we talk about that show. But this was honestly, in my eyes, one of the better shows in weeks for AEW because it featured one of my favorite TV matches of the year so far. Will Ospreay defeating Rey Fenix in a fantastic main event matchup to retain the AEW International Championship, which featured a finish as well as a post-match that further developed the ongoing main event storyline between Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay ahead of Forbidden Door, with Will pulling out Swerve's Swerve Stomp to get the victory, followed by a second hidden blade on Rey Fenix. And then the post-match was even better as Swerve Strickland talked down to Ospreay, asking him if he thinks this is a game and that he needs to take things serious. and this led to Ospreay and Swerve bumping each other, and Ospreay taking Swerve's AEW World Championship, posing with it, the perfect glance into the camera. This shot here is one of my favorite pictures of the year, leading to Swerve telling Will that if he was anyone else and he wasn't his friend, he would put him in the grave. Meanwhile, Swerve felt like the main character of AEW on this show as he kicked off the show for the very first time on Dynamite with a promo. A really good promo, in fact, questioning the killer instinct of Ospreay after he wouldn't use the Storm Driver at Double or Nothing before being interrupted by the elites, the EVPs, of course, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, Kashika Okada, who says, "Whose house? My house, bitch." And as well as Jack Perry. This led to the EVPs challenging AEW's best to the most dangerous match in the company, Blood and Guts, and proposed Strickland join their team for the matchup. But of course, he turned them down, leading to, it looked like it was leading to a 4-on-1 beatdown, but the Acclaim came down to even the odds with the Elite. That led transition into scapegoat Jack Perry beating Dustin Rhodes to advance in the TNT Championship ladder match at Forbidden Door. Meanwhile, you had MJF and Roosh had a great angle after Roosh picked up a win over Dion Roosman. MJF came out and they got into an even more intense than last week pull-apart brawl that went through the crowd to the backstage area. This sets up MJF versus Roosh commercial-free to kick off next Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. He had another title match, in fact, with Mercedes Moné defeating Zezusis of CMLL in a really good bout to retain the TBS Championship. Mercedes retaining and moving on to Forbidden Door, where she'll go one-on-one with Zezusis' tag team partner Stephanie Becker, the NJPW Strong Women's Champion. We got the excellent video package introducing Stardom's Mina Shirakawa ahead of her AEW Women's World Title match at Forbidden Door. And this led to Mariah May revealing to Timeless Tony Storm that there will be a contract signing with Mina and Storm next week to set up Forbidden Door. Both Pac and NJPW's own never openweight champion Shingo Takagi entered themselves into the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And finally, you had one of the craziest promos in Dynamite history from drunk redneck football head coach Mark Briscoe as he hyped up his team ahead of their loss to Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Roderick Strong in a all-star trios matchup where they got the win over Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy in an awesome match. Post-match, Trent Beretta attacked OC, and Takeshita and Fletcher attacked Briscoe, while Undisputed Kingdom held back O'Reilly until Willow Nightingale attempted to make the save, only to be attacked by Chris Statlander. Krssi Love, what did you think of this week's AEW Dynamite?
Solid show. It's too bad it didn't show in the ratings, I guess, because sports is still a thing and people can't do both. But hey. But great show overall. Why is Swerve the champ and he's now just having a promo opening up the show? Says a lot.
I agree.
We have to do better. Your first black champ, and this is how you treat us? Tony Khan. I don't want to say the word, but it's little. Just a little. Just a teach. Saying. But I love that the whole thing was like with him, Swerve and Ospreay, of course, my boo. Well, both of them actually. But yeah, I think this is going to be a great match. I don't know how the ending is going to be, but I'm excited to see it. I'm so excited to see Forbidden Door. It's all over UBS. Everywhere you went, I was there yesterday, and everywhere you went, you saw it there.
I think after the promo that kicked off the show from Swerve, the finish has to be Ospreay goes for the Storm Driver. He hesitates. Swerve reverses, and he hits the Storm Driver to get the win over Ospreay.
And give him his first loss.
He said you don't have the killer instinct. You're doubting yourself. You're not going to pull the trigger. And there's a reason why they call me Kill Shot, because I won't hesitate to pull the trigger.
Okay. All right.
I think it's set up nicely, but I absolutely love that post match angle. That got
Yes.
that elevated the
Yeah.
build.
Mm-hmm.
Elevated the build to this matchup for sure. And there was a lot of great stuff on this show this
On the
week.
show,
Josh,
yeah. Too bad, it
Josh,
hurt it in the ratings though. But hey,
well,
what are you gonna do?
I expected that because
Yeah.
it's the NBA Finals, guys. Like they're gonna get hit hard, and their ratings had already dropped year over year, so it was no surprise that it was like that to me.
Exactly. So,
Josh, what you were watching the show live with us here on the channel, but what was your overall thoughts on this week's Dynamite?
It was a great episode. I like the pace of it because it got to a point that I was like, oh shit, the first hour just flew by. There was a good pace of it. I like the flow of it. And I did say that they made Swerve feel important. That they started the show with Swerve, they ended the show with Swerve.
Yes, that's true. You're right.
So when it comes to Swerve himself, yeah, there was a period of time where I was just like, hey, they're kind of putting more of the spotlight on the Elite, and Swerve did feel secondary for a while. So at least they got around to that, right? Because Swerve has been taking shots at the Elite. So at least now they finally did something on screen when it comes to that. But also Swerve himself has handled himself very well. Just like that Busted Open interview where they were trying to do certain things to him, and he handled himself very well. And I love his responses, especially to Bully Ray. But besides that, the show itself was great. What else? The closing segment, I do agree. That was like one of the best closing segments that they've had in a while.
Long time.
Mercedes looks great in the ring. Yeah. I'm like, I gotta see more of this from Mercedes, because this is how you get back under good graces with Mercedes, right? You kind of forget, like, hey, she didn't wrestle for 2 months. Hey, her promos are pretty bad. So you put her in the ring.
Damn.
They are. Let's be real. Her talking has never been her strong suit. Even though I think she talks better when she's a heel, but when you're trying to make her a face, it just doesn't hit.
Good. Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same. So, but overall, like I said, the show was great. They did some great things. I like the people that are in the tournament, the Owen Hart tournament, Shingo, Pac. I thought those were good picks for the tournament. You want to make it mean something,
right?
So, again, overall, great show. Can't complain at all.
All I need is for tonight on Collision, we get Bryan Danielson announcing he's facing Shingo at Forbidden Door. Because they set it up nice. They set it up in like a coy way where they talked about Shingo being the Japanese dragon, where his real nickname is he's the Rampage Dragon when he's in New Japan. But they called him the Japanese Dragon because I think they're trying to set up Japanese Dragon versus American Dragon at Forbidden Door.
That was great.
Round of the
when I heard that Shingo was in the tournament, I brought that up too. I was just like, yo, we're going to get Shingo versus Danielson? I don't know. I was like, yo. Because I'm really trying to go to the show, to be honest with you. I'm really trying to go. That's a great show. Their card is looking great. Like, it's getting to a point I'm just like, yo, I gotta go. So if I can get tickets,
it's not far either. You rather go there than Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, it's not. And on my line, so if I take the train, right, all I gotta do is take the Metro. I gotta take the LIR. I gotta take it one stop to Jamaica, take another train, and then that's also one stop. So I'm very close to the USB Center. So I'm very close to it. So
yeah.
Definitely thinking about it, because that weekend is gonna be crazy for me. That's gonna be a crazy ass weekend because I'm attending another show before that, the day before.
Okay.
Doing some scouting. One of the guys from the show invited me to the show, so I'm like, let me take a look, because I might do the show next year myself. So they're basically inviting me to take a look to see how it goes and shit. So
nice.
It's gonna be a crazy weekend. So that's why I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna fit this Forbidden Door? Like, if I'm going, how am I gonna fit this? But I'm gonna try to make it work, because the next day I'm off anyway. So because I took a vacation day, so that's why I did this in case.
So do I have to convince Jimmy to show up for the Forbidden Door review so Josh can as well? We can have y'all interact again after our Double or Nothing review.
You should.
Maybe.
You absolutely should.
I'm gonna try. I'll even hit up Professor Chris so we can have the same lineup. And Jimmy is, if you saw AE Ramble this week, he's really into the Swerve and Ospreay. He was praising that whole post match segment. He says that this is the first time he's really interested in a Forbidden Door matchup. In that Swerve and Ospreay matchup. Yeah, he usually hates Forbidden Door because it's a whole bunch of people he doesn't care about with New Japan.
Got it.
So I understand where he's coming from, and that's why I like the choice of Swerve versus Ospreay as the main event. We do have another super chat donation this time from our good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will, the GOAT. We appreciate y'all for joining us today. He says HBK popping ass for that CW deal. LOL. He getting that new CW cheddar, and he's already popping ass. He said he's having fun on social media. I just don't need you to be all creepy, Sean. That's all I do. I don't need you to be creepy. You can do the chef thing. That's fine, but creepy when you're popping ass, like you think when you stand next to Sexy Red, you think you see two bad bitches. I don't need all of that, Sean. I don't need all of that. Brett was actually right about you.
You know what?
I'm just saying. It's kind of creepy. To
be honest, there's a lot I don't need to see from HBK. There's a lot I don't need to see from that man.
We also got our good friend Will Chisholm once again with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will. He says that was funny how the EVPs want AEW's best, and then Billy Gunn and his mixed sons come out. LOL. Please do not put Billy Gunn in Blood and Guts. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for.
I don't know.
I could deal with Caster and Bowens, but I don't want Billy to be in that.
I'm just saying, now it feels like you're just throwing them down our throats now. Because you didn't even really need them. And I mean, the interaction is not really necessary. They had so many tag teams to choose from, they choose them.
I think the problem with the Acclaim is that it's been 2 years and they haven't changed one bit.
No,
I remember
formula.
I remember the Acclaim from 2021 when the Young Bucks were last tag team champions, their first run as tag team champions, and they faced the Young Acclaim before they got over when they faced them. There's not much change from that Acclaim to this Acclaim.
Nope.
Except for the Scissor Me Daddy Ass, which is 2 years old, and like there's been no evolution of the Acclaim. That's why I feel like we're hearing so more and more people that are down on the Acclaim, or the Acclaim is not as over as they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, man, it's also different. It's also a little weird because I do agree with what you're saying, but then also like every time they get out there, they always get like one of the loudest reactions. So it's a weird situation with the Acclaim, like where you see like social media, they're kind of over it. But then when it gets in front of the crowd, it's like it's not the same. Like, is it just me, or I could be bugging? But it kind of does feel like that for me.
Yeah.
I'm just not into it, and they haven't done the Jericho of when the online crowd is saying like your act is stale, you haven't pivoted or evolved.
Make
in
some
any way.
changes. Yeah, fix it.
Like in the past 2 years, I would say Jericho's had more evolutions than the Acclaim. That's outrageous. Like, how is Chris Jericho?
It's not outrageous. It's actual facts. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Like Chris Jericho knows what to do to make people make them like him, or make him be more of the character that he can do these things without a blink of an eye.
That's true. He's a lot more experienced, and it is also a combination of Max Caster and his horrible Twitter game. He seems to offend everyone every single week on Twitter.
Yeah, it's like
his phone.
No, but saying like, but I do agree with that too, because it's kind of like on social media, you come off like an asshole, and then all of a sudden they're pushing you like a baby face on TV.
Correct, exactly.
But it's a lot. I mean, I get it. Some of the things he does say is funny, but then some of the things I think is just terrible timing. It's just like, bro, what are you doing?
Yep. Absolutely.
And we see a couple of people commenting on the Acclaimed here. We also got another super chat donation, this time from one of our other favorites, Chuck Berries, who's been definitely supporting us this month. We appreciate all that. Chuck Berry says, Stokely is such a hidden treasure. He told that girl to wake her ass up, and I popped like crazy. LOL. Yes, he told Willow if she keeps sticking her nose in Chris Statlander's business, the next time they drag you, it won't be to the stage, it will be to the ER. I love Stokely so much.
He's a person that needs to be protected at all times.
Our short king. That's our short king, Stokely Hathaway.
Yep.
We got Annika who says, it's not just you, Josh, no offense, but the Elite story went down when they started fighting the Acclaim. Yes, it lowered it. It went from the main event, main storyline in AEW to like an upper mid-card storyline because the Acclaim are now involved. It's rather unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and Ninja Mortis, that's a great comment. He says Max Caster got that babyface Sammy problem. Yes. He's like babyface Sammy.
That's exactly what he has. Yeah, that's exactly what he has. Because like we all know that they're kind of dicks. I don't think they do it purposely, but it's just the way they come off sometimes. Just like, again, it's terrible timing. It's like you guys do and say dumb shit at the worst time possible.
At the worst time ever. Yep.
And it's like, and then when you're trying to push it, like, hey, that they're these nice babyface guys. It's a weird feeling when it comes to it. I mean, when it comes to blood and guts, like, yeah, would I want them? Even though, again, Bowens is a good friend of mine in real life, so that's why it's like, I'm happy for him that all this is happening for him. And then even if he does blood and guts, I'm happy for him when it comes to those kind of things. But given the circumstances, if I had another team that was available, I would choose the other team over the Acclaim right now.
So who do y'all have being on the team AEW at Blood and Guts? Because I think we're gonna have Swerve, Matt Caster, Anthony Bowens. I'll say a return from Darby, even if he's hurt. If we've seen at Anarchy in the Arena, he will still show up.
He'll still put his body on the line just to everyone.
And to add some intrigue to all of this, because of his relationship with all four of those guys I just mentioned, MJF. Day one AEW guy. He already said, I'm one of the pillars in AEW.
Yep, the pillars,
Elite challenged the AEW's best. And I feel MJF is going to win the Owen. He hasn't entered it yet. Maybe we get that next week. But I think he enters the Owen. So you have his issue with Swerve. They are about to main event All In and now have to team up again with each other on July 24th in Blood and Guts. His relationship with Darby and their long-term rivalry. His friendship, his rivalry turned friendship with the Acclaim. He just makes all the sense. That's my team, AEW. What about y'all?
I actually like those two picks. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, about to say I like your.
But then also MJF makes it interesting. MJF, to be honest with you,
the trajectory.
Once you just said that, then it's like, I don't care if Caster and Bowens is in the match now.
Right?
Like,
yeah, because no one will. Yeah,
I kind of.
He'll overshine
so
them.
I actually like that. I actually like that idea.
We'll forgive the whole Acclaim being in it and just forget about it that they're even there. They're just there. They're just placeholders. And we put the other guys there.
I just need them to also have an interaction with Swerve where they bring up their old rivalry and the fact that Swerve once kidnapped Billy Gunn and tortured him in a shed. That actually happened, folks. That actually happened. So we got in the chat here, Safet saying the Elite is in the mid-card fighting the Acclaimed, unfortunately. We also got the EVPs. The Young Bucks will face the Acclaim on Wednesday in an eliminator matchup made by Christopher Daniels. We also got Power Driver Finisher says, bro, I'm not even stressing about Billy. The fact he's old and still somewhat going, I don't see why Billy can't have the Dustin treatment. I am good. If you saw me on Thursday, I was totally over the fact that Jack Perry needed exposed turnbuckle, exposed concrete, a low blow, And Dustin still was flipping him off right at the end of the matchup. Oh my God. Why do they book Dustin Rhodes like he's fucking Hulk Hogan?
They do all the time. And every match he bleeds like it's regular shit. Like you don't need to bleed, bro. It's okay. That's not gonna make us like you more.
And it was like 3 minutes into the matchup. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. He was 3 minutes into the matchup. He's already bleeding.
Yeah, it is a weird.
PTSD.
It's a weird situation just because Dustin is a guy that got better as he got older. He got better in the ring as he got older. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, yeah, I think he's always going to give good performances, but I do agree with in the sense of like, yeah, you're making him look too strong, but then he loses anyway. So
always
what's
he
going
doesn't
on
win.
with that? What's going on with that?
Never wins.
Always got to make him look real strong. It's like Roman in 2015. But AEW had a big loss this week, or depending on how you feel about this person, as Fightful Select had an update on former AEW wrestler Jeff Hardy. According to the report, Hardy's current deal with AEW expired on Friday, June 14th, yesterday, making Jeff Hardy a free agent. It was originally expected that AEW would add time to his contract due to his significant time off due to injury. However, that does not appear to be happening. As of Wednesday, Jeff's brother Matt saw his All Elite Wrestling contract expire earlier in April, and enabling him to leave the company. But the two sides did have talks to renew Matt Hardy's deal. Fightful reports that since April, there haven't been any extended conversations about bringing Matt Hardy back to AEW or bringing Jeff Hardy in for more time on his contract. Additionally, TNA wrestling sources informed Fightful that they have interest in Jeff Hardy, noting his past history with the promotion. Matt Hardy has also recently returned to TNA wrestling, and TNA sources informed Fightful that things have been going so well with Matt Hardy so far that they liked him to work more dates. PW Insider had some additional details on Jeff Hardy becoming a free agent and a likely return to TNA. According to the report, Jeff Hardy was expected to make his TNA return later this weekend. Impact TV tapings were scheduled for tonight in Chicago, Illinois at Cicero Stadium. And the report also indicated that Jeff Hardy would appear at Against All Odds, which was in Chicago as well. And then it happened. Last night at Against All Odds in Chicago, Illinois, after Broken Matt Hardy lost to Moose as Moose retained the TNA Heavyweight Championship. The post-match saw the System jump Broken Matt, as well as other baby faces, the Nemeth brothers and Joe Hendry. It looked like the System were going to stand tall to end the show when the OG Hardy Boys music hit to bring out Jeff Hardy, as he did in fact make his return to TNA following his brother's loss. He came out to the signature Hardy Boys music that Tony Khan copyrighted, that he secured when Jeff Hardy made his debut in AEW back in 2022. As the Hardy Boys, along with the Nemeth brothers and Joe Hendry, stood tall to end the show after running off the heels, as Jeff Hardy is home in TNA. Brother Nero, I knew you'd come, as he would say. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Josh, about Jeff Hardy ending his 2-year run, a very tumultuous 2-year run with everything that went down, when it really seemed when he first came that, Tony Khan had big plans for them. It looked like they were going to win the AEW World Tag Team titles. Then, of course, Jeff gets his DUI in June of 2022, which causes him to be suspended for nearly a year. He comes back at the end of 2022 into 2023, and then they didn't really like their push. They were stuck on Rampage for a while in very minor storylines with the Firm, as well as with Ethan Page, before, Jeff Hardy started getting more play at the beginning of this year before his injury against Sammy Guevara in February on an episode of Rampage. So injuries, suspensions, a lot of turmoil in that 2 years. But man, you could say the Hardys have spent time in every major promotion in
In the
North America over the last 2 decades. It's amazing how many different promotions, how many different runs they've had in all of these companies. Josh, what did you think about Jeff ending his run in AEW and going over to TNA with Broken Matt?
I mean, going to TNA right now is probably the best scenario for him. You know,
probably the only
AEW,
people that will hire him.
I mean, when it comes to AEW, you know, I can't really fault AEW for how they treated them. I mean, I'm not, you know, but it's just because of what happened with Jeff. You know, when he had that DUI, it became a big mess, and it was one of those things where it made AEW look bad because they hired him after what he did with WWE. So because of that, you know, a lot of people are trying to blame them for that, or trying to, like, you know, hey, you know, you're getting the same mess. You see, like, nothing was better. So it was kind of it was kind of one of those things where, you know, like, they just didn't push them after that. You know, Matt got the bad end of it, but then with Matt too himself, I mean, we all know, like, he's gotten over with the Broken Matt gimmick, and he wasn't doing that in AEW. He did it for like a few.
And, I mean, he came in during the pandemic where that Broken Matt stuff is not going to work in front of no fans.
No. I'm saying it's not going to work. But then, like, you know, when the crowds were coming back, they just didn't go back to it. You know, so Matt was kind of dead in the water after that, because, you know, they tried different things with him. But then it got to a point that people really didn't want to see him on TV anymore. Like, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, people just didn't want to see him on TV.
You are absolutely right. That's why I'm laughing.
You know, like, but then also, like, you know, the Hardy Boys, they got back together. It was the same thing. People were just like, they were kind of turned off by it, because it's just like, oh, why are these guys getting the title run? And then that's when the whole fiasco of them, you know, of him getting arrested and all that stuff happened. So they just never pushed it after that.
Yep.
So right now, I mean, TNA is the best scenario for him, just because, I mean, he's been there before. So he'll probably be one of those guys that'll get away with, like, hey, let's put him in the main title picture and stuff like that. He was going to get that in AEW no matter what. He was going to be the guy that, hey, you're going to put guys over, and then, you know, they're going to, like, oh shit, this guy beat Jeff Hardy. Like, it's going to look good on their resume. That's all he was going to be in AEW at this point. So, I mean, if he wants to continue his career and he wants to finish it, I do think TNA is the best spot for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. When you really think about it, outside of their runs in WWE, their best and most sustained runs have been in TNA, whether it was, you know, Jeff in the mini run that he had in the 2000s before returning to WWE, or the, you know, the Broken Matt and Broken Hardys era from 2016 through 2017 in TNA. That's where they have kind of made their best runs outside of WWE. Krssi, what do you think about Brother Nero joining up with Broken Matt in TNA?
It's good for them. Like I said, like when you guys were talking, I think it's like the best place for him, and the only people that would actually hire him, because he's still a liability, kind of.
No, he is. He's always going to be.
Unfortunately, yeah, the truth is the truth.
The truth, right? Like, don't be mad at the honest truth of facts. Like, they're facts. Like, you brought this on yourself, no one else. You're lucky that you even got a damn job, to be honest, because no one don't have to hire you. So, I mean, yes, this is a good thing for them to be the ones that's been in all of these promotions the last, like, 2 decades is, like, saying a lot. People still believe in them. So that's cool. So, you know, good for him. Hopefully they, you know, put something in writing and he could stay on the right track.
So I'm going to break down this timeline here. So the Hardys came into WWE in the 90s. I want to say like 94, 95. They were in WWE. Jeff was in WWE all the way up until 2003. In 2003, he had a brief I think a couple of shows in Ring of Honor, and then he went to TNA for about 3 years, a 3-year run, then returned back to WWE in 2006. He spent 3.5 years in WWE at that point until 2009, where he left the company to return to TNA at the beginning of 2010. He spent about, I want to say, a couple of years in TNA. You had, at that time, Matt also spent some time in Ring of Honor as Big Money Matt Hardy for a short stint from 2013 through 2014. Then they teamed back up together in TNA, and we had the Broken Saga and the Broken Hardys run that went through 2017, where they made their return to WWE at WrestleMania 33. They spent about 3 years in WWE for Matt before Matt made the jump to AEW. Jeff would spend 2 more years after that with WWE until the end of 2021, where he made the jump to AEW in 2022. And then they spent 2.5 years in AEW before making this jump to TNA. Jesus Christ. WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, AEW, and now back to TNA.
It's a lot.
That's the saga. That's a lot.
That's a lot, and but it's good for them. I mean, they keep getting jobs because realistically, they're likable guys.
They are. That's the thing. They have good charisma, and they're working. Yeah. They can work at.
And Jeff Hardy is a big star, regardless of his issues.
Correct. Bigger than,
he's always been like when it comes to the two guys.
He's a popular one.
Jeff has always been like the best worker. I think Matt has always been the best character.
Right.
So it goes like that's why it works so well too. Like which Matt is not a slouch in the ring. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not. He doesn't do what Jeff does. Like if you were telling me like, hey, who has a better singles run in them, it will be Jeff, because Jeff has done it. He's been a world champion multiple times in WWE as well. So, but that's why they work so well together, because one does one thing, the other one they have strong points when it comes to like their tag team. And I think over the years, that's why they're still so popular to this day. And that's why they're still around right now. They're about to be hit 50 and they're still around.
I would say that I think that the only way they could possibly do a WWE return, because WWE set the standard with kind of a new standard with Rey Mysterio in 2023, they should be in the 2025 Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Even though they're still active, even though they're going to probably still wrestle after that, put them in the 20. If you have this working relationship with TNA, then take some guys from TNA that you would want to put in the Hall of Fame, like the Hardys, put them in the 2025 class.
Aren't they in the Hall of Fame already?
No, they're still active. That's why they usually don't put in active guys.
No, it's the Dudleys and Edge and Christian. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Christian
right now. Yeah.
Christian's
not.
It's just Edge. It's just Edge. Edge and the Dudleys are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think right now they're only working dates, so technically the Hardy Boys don't have like full like TNA contracts at the moment. They're going to be working dates for them, which I think is the best scenario for them too, because you don't want to be tied down at the moment, unless if it's a nice offer and it's offered you can't refuse and you feel comfortable enough, then I think you take it. But they're in the best situation there, right now, because they still could do other shit.
So besides an exit of Jeff Hardy, AEW got some other bad news this week, as one of their top acts is going to be out for quite some time, it seems. Dax Harwood went to social media this week and announced that he's on the shelf due to an injury that he suffered all the way back in April at AEW Dynasty. The FTR member posted a video on Twitter in which he announced that he will be out of action for an undetermined amount of time due to the injury. Harwood noted that he suffered the injury when giving Matthew Jackson a power driver in the ladder match at AEW Dynasty against the Young Bucks, and that he didn't tell the medical staff and executives in AEW about it. He apologized to the AEW staff, in particular the medical staff, about not being more upfront with the matter, as he thought he could tough through the injury. which included a severe hematoma on his fucking back.
Oh
And
my
that
God.
it basically inflated into the size of like a golf ball after his matchup against the Blackpool Combat Club on last Saturday's Collision. He said that he
Jesus.
felt FTR was riding a momentum high and didn't want to take himself and Cash Wheeler off the road, but that he had an x-ray done on his back and lower pelvis, combined with him explaining how long he had been dealing with it. AEW's Doc Samson took him off the road immediately. Harwood went on to say that the failure to deal with the injury could lead to early retirement, which he obviously doesn't want, and said that he and Wheeler are going to be off TV for a while. He said he hoped to be back soon and thanked the fans and people at AEW. On behalf of all of us at Tru Heel Heat, our best wishes to Dax Harwood dealing with that injury and for a quick and speedy recovery. But what do you think, Ms. Krssi Love, about, Harwood hiding the injury and now the FTR being off television when, they were like one of the top acts, especially over on Collision for AEW at this point?
If he would have said something, they probably would have been able to do something that now they don't have to be on the shelf for a long time. If he would have said something right away, they probably could have rehabbed it or did something now, but you've made the injury worse. You don't like to go to the doctor? Or you've been doing this for a long time? I don't get it.
Well, if you're an athlete, that you just deal with certain injuries. You think you could tough through it and that you'll get better, or you just naturally deal with that pain.
Yeah.
Right, but still,
yeah, maybe that's why I think maybe that's why I'm not as harsh as people. They're like, oh, who wrestles for hernia? There's a lot of people I know who walk around with a hernia, and there was somebody that, like my brother, he walked around for a hernia for like 3 years before he got it removed. So there's people who don't want to deal with they don't want to deal with it, and I understand. So, but in Dax's case, he is an athlete.
Right.
He wants to keep going, and I think everybody's like that in sports, wrestling, and all that stuff. So I get it. Should he have checked on it sooner? Absolutely.
Yes.
But it is a good thing that once AEW caught on to it, they got aware of it. They're like, no, we got to get you the fuck off. The only thing I would say, the only nitpick I have with Dax is that he did that fucking video for way too long. It's like, bro, just get straight to the fucking point.
Dude, I didn't even. I'm sorry, I couldn't even watch the whole thing. I was like, I'll just get the transcript. And
But he does that a lot. He does that a lot. Dax does that a lot. Like, Dax is a nice guy, but he does that shit a lot. It's like, bro, just I'm like, bro, just cut it out. Just get straight to the fucking point. You don't need to tell me a Harry Potter book of what's going on.
Yes. And Balabi, I know he's saying Jeff did work NJPW. Jeff was on Wrestle Kingdom 5 against Naito for TNA title. That was when he was part of TNA, sir. So that doesn't really count. He didn't appear. He appeared on New Japan. He didn't work for New Japan. He didn't get a check from New Japan. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. I don't know who wrestles with a freaking hematoma on his fucking back, except for CM Punk. So of course they're best friends.
That's true. You make SP when you make sense. You make points. That's true. That's what it is.
Got it. I got the correlation there. We got Annika who says, is that the reason the Acclaimed are facing the Elite? Because it was supposed to be FTR. I hope so.
Yes.
I hope that this wasn't there. I hope this wasn't plan A. I hope this wasn't plan A.
I'm telling you, that was
I want to believe that. Yeah, I really, truly want to believe that. That's the reason why.
Yep. No, not it. Yeah.
We also got Power Driver Finisher say 100. We got Safet who says, wishing Dax Harwood a speedy recovery. I definitely agree with you. Frantic Rail says it's time to give Cash Wheeler a singles run in AEW. I can understand if Cash doesn't want that. He wants to stay in the tag team.
No, it's fine.
I was like, no, that's okay. Dax has always been the best wrestler in that group. Like, I don't need a singles run for Cash Wheeler. Especially I
like Cash. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he needs that though. I don't think.
And what kind of gimmick are you gonna give him? I mean, what, he's gonna go on the road again and shoot somebody?
Be on vacation. Take your kids on a trip. I don't know.
the young Glock Henderson Cash Wheeler. Final AEW big news point that we gotta address here is we gotta exit from Jeff Hardy. We got the injury to FTR, who joined a big list of big time stars that AEW currently has out with like Kenny Omega. Darby Allin is currently out as well. Sammy Guevara is on suspension, so they have a bunch of big injury, a bunch of big names that are currently out. But one big name seems like he's on his way back. And it's none other than the Hangman, Adam Page. He is making his return to AEW TV soon, according to a new report. Page has been out of action since AEW Revolution in March, with reports at the time saying that he was out for personal reasons. Fightful Select reports that Page is set to make his return soon. There is no date confirmed for his return, but it's expected to happen in the next month, likely by the early days of July. As of now, there is no word of creative plans, though he is expected to remain as a heel after his double turn with Swerve Strickland in February. There's no word on whether Page's time off is being added to his current deal, but it was not a surprise absence, and both sides knew it was coming. There's no word on whether he's planned for next week's Dynamite, which will take place near his home in Virginia. So, I mean, this is good news for AEW, obviously. Hangman Adam Page has been one of the main guys, one of the top guys, one of the aces of the promotion for quite some time. And he left at a point where him and Swerve had the best rivalry in AEW. And you got to assume that after the Elite had Swerve to be the fifth man in Blood and Guts, and he turned them down, that even though the Elite, the EVPs, put Hangman and Adam Page in storyline on suspension, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Is my friend, yeah.
Hangman will be the fifth man of Team Elite in Blood and Guts. What do y'all think?
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. And that would be a funny way. Like, they need to acknowledge that. Like, all right, he's off suspension. Like, which I think they're gonna do that very well. So then it will make sense that he'll be not one on Team Elite, and two, you continue his heel run. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
True.
Krssi, I want to ask you, do you think that Hangman makes it back in time to be a part of the Owen Hart Cup, and we could possibly get Hangman winning the Owen and facing Swerve at All In?
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that. Damn. Rematch. Oh, Jesus.
This time for the title.
This time for the title. Yeah, right. This time at the title. I mean, this time for the title, excuse me. But then Hangman will lose.
Well, he could beat him. You got Paula B here. It says Hanger Banger wins the Owen and beats Swerve at All In. I would not mind a heel, and especially if you have Jack Perry win at Forbidden Door, and then Hangman wins the world title at All In. So all 5 members of the Elite have gold.
Wow.
That's why there's so many great options right now. They have it's not clear. They have so many great options. This is why I'm liking this for AEW, is because we're not getting something that's so predictable.
Correct.
So going into All In, we don't even know what's gonna happen with this guy, what's gonna happen with this match, or what matches are we gonna get. I like the suspense when it comes to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're stacking this year's Owen, especially on the men's side, with already Brian, Pac, and Shingo announced. And I've been pushing the idea of MJF being a part of the Owen and possibly being the man to win it. Then you also got Hangman as a possibility if he's on his way back. There's a lot of interesting options for them to go with. And you got Emmanuel suggesting that they do a dog collar match between Swerve and Hangman. If you want to make it as bloody as the Texas Death Match, yeah, that's a good route to go. Dog collar match.
True.
I would be down with that.
That'd be great.
But we had another show from AEW last night, AEW Rampage, baby. The show featured timeless Toni Storm, our AEW Women's World Champion, picking up the win against Mrs. Ospreay, Alex Windsor, in a solid opener. Good showing from Alex Windsor, who I think is still not signed by AEW, but definitely should be. Shota Umino beat Rocky Romero in a good bout from the NJPW talent, picking up a win with the Death Rider. Meanwhile, you had Harley Cameron seemingly declare Saraya for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Also, you had some squash wins by Cage of Agony, Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, as well as Santam Singh. And then in the main event, it was Pac picking up a win over Jay Lethal as he gets ready for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. But a couple of extra news notes from AEW. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Nick Wayne has reportedly been pulled from the Triple Mania Tijuana, which is on Saturday tonight. AEW pulled him for commitments to them, as it seems that AEW will likely have Wayne involved in Christian Cage's Father's Day special on tonight's 1-year anniversary of AEW Collision. However, neither AAA or AEW have announced anything in regards to that. AEW also pulled Thunder Rosa from her scheduled performance. We talked about it last week that we were supposed to sponsor Thunder Rosa for the Mission Pro Wrestling event, which is tonight as well. And AEW pulled her from that event as she will be facing Deonna Purrazzo in a no disqualification matchup. So unfortunately, that's what happens now that AEW Collision is on, is around. It's on Saturdays, where a lot of these guys would have independent bookings or bookings outside of AEW. So sometimes AEW will pull you from that. That's just the nature of the beast with the television show.
Yep.
Unfortunate, but we were disappointed to find out. We really were looking forward to sponsoring the event, but it did make sense.
Oh, that's why. That's why we got when I got the email, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just ask him about it later." I mean, I didn't understand, but whatever. It was like, "Okay, what happened? I don't know." Yeah, I'm sure something happened.
I sent it back to most of it. I'll send it to the rest. If any of our team is watching, don't worry, you'll get yours this weekend. But
sorry.
Yes,
Oops.
No. It just hit yesterday when I sent y'all that. So there you go. But yes, we'll see how they approve on that and make it up to these promotions with AAA.
So the whole show is canceled?
No. The show is still going on, but
the show's still going on. It's just her appearance.
I don't think we wanted to sponsor anyone besides Thunder Rosa. Sorry, guys. Sorry. We're Thunder Rosa fans. We're Thunder Rosa marks. I'm sorry.
But I didn't understand. I get it now. I understand now what happened. Okay, got it.
There you go.
Got it.
But other news, AEW seems to be in the process of possibly adding some new teams, as Fightful Select had a report about wrestlers Zach Gibson and James Drake, the grizzled young veterans, and their AEW status. They recently made their AEW's debuts earlier this year, losing to The Acclaim on the April 27th edition of Collision. However, they were not signed to a contract when they made their debut. According to Fightful's report, there have been ongoing talks with AEW as far as a contract between the two sides. However, as of last week, it's not yet a done deal that Gibson and Drake will sign with the promotion. The vets have not appeared on AEW programming since their Collision debut. AEW reportedly does have interest in the team, and they've also made recent appearances in TNA wrestling, but they were done without contracts as well. So it appears the grizzled young veterans are still free agents. They reportedly finished up their time in TNA back in March. Meanwhile, there is a team that may make their debut tonight on Collision, as Fightful Select reports that the former Maximum Male models Mason, Madden, and Mansoor are set to work this Saturday's 1-year anniversary of AEW Collision. It's unknown if they will have talks with All Elite Wrestling about future appearances or not, and the creative plans are unknown. They are booked for the taping, however, and the two recently went viral for their SGW appearance and have reportedly had talks with TNA Wrestling as well. I heard your response, Josh. What do you think about possibly grizzled young veterans signing with AEW and Maximum Male Models MXM making their debut tonight on Collision?
I mean, Krssi and Vets, I mean, obviously they're one of the best tag teams, in my opinion, in the world. So I think if they're available, I think you do your best to try to get them, right? When it comes to the maximum male models, I was a little surprised with that when I heard that. I was like, oh shit, because they've been doing some great stuff. Surprisingly, after WWE, because like, you know, them on their own would be a harder sell, but the fact that they stuck together doing independent stuff, they've been doing some great stuff. So I gotta admit that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they bring to the table and like where do they go from there? Like, is it gonna be more of a gimmick thing, like the same gimmick, like same stuff like that, or like, you know, so that aspect is gonna be interesting. But yeah, some solid moves for the tag team divisions. That'll be some solid moves for them.
Yeah, I can see MXM having a similar run to like 2.0, where they don't need like the biggest, most prominent spot. They just need to be used more than they did in their previous home. And I think that, you know, with the creative, I could see them joining something like the Learning Tree and making that work or something like that. Like there's a couple of different spots that I can see MSM working, but I think those guys are so talented, are so funny and so creative that they can make anything.
Yeah, and that's why it was a good pairing. Like, obviously, because in WWE, like the way that shit was going, it was kind of like, oh, what the hell is this? It got to a point that even LA Knight didn't want to be involved in it. But the fact that they stuck together, like they know they got something there. There's something special with that. It's good to see in general, like on a personal level, it's good to see. So it'll be fun. It'll be really fun to see where they go from here. Like if they have a good impression, that's only going to help them.
Thanks. We also got in the chat, Ninja Mortis says MXN would fit better in TNA, in my honest opinion. I think that they would just be a part of like the overall goofiness that sometimes TNA has, where in AEW their goofiness would stand out.
Yeah, it will stand out more. And I think that if they get over, they're going to get a lot of TV time. They necessarily don't need to do tag matches. They necessarily don't need to, but if they're doing stuff that's going to be catchy, they're going to get a lot of TV time. And I think that would be good for them no matter what.
That is a good question about where's the Motor City Machine Guns. I know it was reported back in April from bodyslam.net that they were they're expected to join AEW, but we've really heard nothing about that ever since. And, you know, Vala B saying the same thing. Only one group made a report about Motor City Machine Guns going to AEW. So we're kind of on a wait and see until we hear anything else about them.
Yeah, and it actually has been doing interviews. Like he's been doing podcast appearances. So they're still active. So I don't know if they ever spoke about it on their podcast on those appearances. I know one of my buddies yesterday did interview him. He did like a live stream, so I'm gonna go check that out later to see like if he asked him any of those kind of questions.
And then final AEW news note before we finish out the converse here. PW Insider reports are evident that RD Evans, Robert Evans, has been hired by All Elite Wrestling and worked this past Saturday's Collision taping. He is also was expected to work the Dynamite taping this week. He took part in working on backstage segments over the weekend. Evans was among several staff members who left TNA Wrestling last month. He had been working on the TNA creative team prior to that. Evans left TNA voluntarily several weeks ago as their working relationship was said to have become strained. Evans was reportedly increasingly frustrated and made the call to leave, although some in TNA said it was mutual. While it's not confirmed, it's possible that Jimmy Jacobs helped Evans get hired in AEW as they work together closely in both TNA and WWE. So another creative force coming to AEW as they seem to be filling out the creative team with guys like Jimmy Jacobs, QT Marshall, Sanjay Dutt, of course, Will Washington, our good brother here, Tony Khan, of course, the head of creative. So It's got some good names that I know of that have done good work in the past, but we got to see how it develops. But I will say, we've all complimented this week's Dynamite. The main thing about Dynamite is that the storytelling was a lot tighter. It was a lot of, I think, a good YouTube channel to check out that does great reviews is Ranting Reviews, and he talked about how a lot of Dynamite was about setup and delivery.
Yeah.
We saw that with Ospreay and Swerve. We saw that with MJF and Roosh. We saw that with Swerve and the Elite for Blood and Guts. So setup and delivery is getting a lot tighter, a lot smoother. So we are seeing some differences in the way they're doing their storytelling.
Yeah. And in Fantasy too, he did point that out. He's just like, oh, look, guys, a lot of stories are going on. A lot of stories are happening in AEW. Like he saw that too. So it's been good. It's been good to see.
Yes, from Shakara fame, RD Evans, and the man that tried to steal the embassy from Prince Nana. I'll never forget RD. ROH TV on Honor Club this week. The show featured the Undisputed Kingdom beating Shea Cabrera and Bad Dude Tito, the Wolf Zaddies, in a proving ground matchup. You also had Harley Cameron made her ROH debut, picking up a win against Trish Adora. I don't know why she beat Trish Adora, but she did. Billy Starks defeated Sandra Moon in an ROH Women's TV title proving ground matchup, while Action Andretti and Top Flight beat Dark Order, Lance Archer and Righteous, and Dalton Castle and the Infantry in the first time I ever seen a Four Corners Trios matchup. I was like, wow, I'd never seen anything like this, but hey, something. But that is all from the Converse this week as we move over to their partner moving into Forbidden Door season, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We talked about Dominion last Sunday on our flagship podcast, Tru Heel Heat 280. So check out that if you didn't watch it already. This Monday, though, we had the Despe Invitational. The winner of the Best of the Super Juniors, El Desperado, had his own mystery card show booked by him, which led to, honestly, guys, one of the most entertaining and insane cards of the year. Actually, I checked Cage Match. It's one of the highest rated shows of the year. I think it's got like a 9.4 on Cage Match right now. So many people enjoyed this show. It featured Starlight Kid of Stardom teaming up with Dragon Gate legend Dragon Kid to defeat El Desperado and Mimi Shimoda in a great opening matchup. In one of the craziest matchups I've seen all year long, Hiromu Takahashi and Dream Kasai defeated Minoru Suzuki and Takayuko Yuki in a crazy tag team death matchup that featured all four men putting a pile of Legos in the middle of the ring. They all took off their boots and shoes. All three guys took off their boots and shoes, except for Minoru Suzuki. It took the sick crowd in Kurgan Hall to convince Minoru Suzuki to also take off his shoes. So they all wrestled in the Legos and were, of course, hurting their feet the entire time. Which it was just so batshit crazy and hilarious. I love this match so much. You also had Chris Brooks, El Phantasmo, Mao, and Mashi Tahiti. Takayata went to a 20-minute time limit draw in a wild four-way death match that went all over Kurgan Hall. You had Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Hikaru Sato in a technical wrestling clinic, and you had the Bullet Club's Gato and Dick Togo defeated Dashiaki Deno and El Desperado. Yes, El Desperado wrestled twice on his own show and lost twice on his own show in the main event. I say everyone must go out their way to watch the Despe Invitational. I love this show so much. I am going to do a review on our Patreon about it because I enjoyed it and I need to talk about it more. So check out our Patreon.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. It got one of the highest ratings. Seems like you really did enjoy it too. So interesting stuff. The Lego stuff though, are they fucking
nuts?
Not only that, but what a lot of people don't know is that there's a lot of wrestlers that I've spoken to about like thumbtacks spots and stuff like that. They have said themselves they prefer thumbtacks over Legos. And when I heard that, I'm just like, really? That's fucking wild. Why is that? And they explained it to me. They're like, the thumbtacks usually, when it hits you, it's usually a pinch. That's it. It's not as painful as a lot of people may think. With Legos, the problem is that the pain is lingering. So like if you step on Legos, you're going to feel it for a few days. So that's why they prefer thumbtacks over Legos.
The funniest spot is when Yuki and Hiromu were going at it. They both had their shoes off and were literally doing like running spots across the Legos. And they said like every time they would do the running spot, they would go slower and slower because they're fucking killing their feet the entire time.
That's fucking insane. That's funny. Yo, when I heard that, I was like, God damn. I was like, did they do their research to know? Like, that's painful as fuck.
It's so painful. It was such a pain. It pained me to watch it, but I had so much fun watching that show.
I can imagine, like, stepping on Legos are not fun, friends. Like, I don't understand how you could do a whole wrestling match in your whole body. Oh, no, thank you.
We're parents. We know that too well. Too well. WWE SmackDown. Let's go over into the WWE world as we get ready for Clash at the Castle. WWE SmackDown was from Scotland, Glasgow, Scotland, and the show featured the Bloodline Solo Sikoa defeating Kevin Owens in a decent main event matchup. Post-match, the Bloodline jumped KO after taking out the Street Profits early in the night. It looked like KO was all on his own, but we saw the return of Randy Orton as he came out, delivered an RKO to Tonga Loa, as well as a Hangman's DDT to Solo, making the save for his good friend Kevin Owens to close the show in a big way. Meanwhile, to open the show, you had Naomi beat Chelsea Green. Later in the show, it was Piper Niven that attacked both Naomi and Bayley ahead of her title match with Bayley at today's show, Clash at the Castle. LA Knight, yeah, he showed up and was in Logan Paul's pool in Puerto Rico as he tried to play mind games with the United States champion, telling him to come back to SmackDown next week in Chicago. DIY were also playing mind games with A-Town Down Under, pointing out that Austin Theory has been taking bullets for Grayson Waller, and Grayson Waller is using him. And Johnny Gargano tried to talk some sense into Theory, saying that he's always believed in him, even from their time as the Way, which led to Theory taking another bullet for Waller, a super kick from Johnny Gargano. As Waller checked on Theory, Tommaso Ciampa came with a running knee, and Waller, of course, got out the way, so Theory was hit with the knee as well, as he continues to take bullet upon bullet for his tag team partner, and they seem to be very much pushing that these two men are going to split. And you also had Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles had a splendid promo exchange where AJ accused Cody of being a quitter, saying that he quit New Japan Pro Wrestling, he quit Ring of Honor, he created AEW, and he quit that too ahead of their Clash at the Castle I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship. Of course, AJ did not mention AEW by name. He said that company you created, but he did mention Ring of Honor, which is also owned by the same person. I just want to let WWE know that you should probably just say both names or don't say any names at all. Just that's my thoughts. But really great promo exchange between.
You mean both companies or people? What do you mean?
I'm saying both names, AEW and Ring of Honor.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like
both companies are owned by the if both companies are owned by the same person, then
you can say it. It's fine.
Say both. Why not? But I really enjoyed that promo exchange. But Krssi, you say you want A-Town Down Under to break up? You want a babyface Austin Theory?
No, I don't want neither one of those things. I'm just sick of both of them. That's all. I want the belts off them.
That's the point, though.
Okay, fine, whatever.
They're supposed to be annoying.
They are annoying. I'm great, and I'm happy about that. But I don't have to like them being annoying either.
But like this company lacks effective heel tag teams that are over with the crowd.
Like that is very true. I just think that they don't need the belts. They can take. Matter of fact, let me just correct what I'm saying. Let's get the belts off them. They can still be together. They can still do obnoxious things, but those belts don't need to be on them. I don't even know why they made them the first, the champ, whatever.
Because of our Truth and Miz.
Yeah, to be
Them
fair,
too. They take them-
our Truth and Miz need to lose the titles before 8 times.
Yes, I'm actually both over both R-Truth and Miz even more. Miz, I mean, you've been doing this for how long? You still can't get the words or the dance steps correct? It's terrible. It's just disgusting. You still don't even. You can't even get the. You can't find the beat yet.
Yo, that entrance they did this week was fucking awful.
Cringy.
It was so bad.
Cringy.
Even Michael Cole said that Miz adds nothing to this.
Nothing. It's just if he has to say that and he's on commentary, that's bad. Bad. Like and it's like they've been in for since what, April? It's time, friends. I thought this was gonna be like a temporary thing for like a month. No, it's long. It's keep going on, and they're beating like tag teams. Like sad.
Tear emoji, tear heart emoji, tear tattoo. Bala B, I will let you. I will let you know. I probably will film it tomorrow. For the Patreon, so I will hit you up. I know you got. I know you. We follow each other on Twitter, so I'll hit you up, see if you're available to join me for that, so we can talk about it. But we also got in the chat here. Also got a super chat donation from our good brother Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. He says if they do turn Austin Theory face, it will not work, in my opinion. That is also my opinion. I don't think that will work. They keep trying to make Austin Theory into John Cena, but they don't realize he has been stuck in 2002 John Cena vortex for 5 years. He's been in the company for 5 fucking years.
We've been saying it.
I'm a huge fan of Theory, but he's a heel. Just let him develop and evolve as a heel.
Yep,
he's better as a heel. Both of them, they cannot be baby faces. Both characters cannot be baby faces.
Yeah, we've been saying it about Theory for a long time. Like they always, how many gimmick changes has he's had already in those 5 years compared to like if you want Cena. Cena has had basically 2 gimmick changes in his entire career, and Theory has had how many already? Like in comparison, like that's crazy to me.
That is insane. You had Theory coming in like as a prospect. Then he joined up with Zelina and Angel Garza back in like the pandemic era. Then he went from that to being one of Seth Rollins' proteges in the Messiah era. Then he went from that to back to NXT, where he was once again a prospect. But then he went from that to the meathead version of Austin Theory with the Way. Then he went from that to the selfie guy back on the main roster, the grandson of Vince McMahon. Then he went from that to I'm serious now. I am the now Austin Theory, and now he's with A-Town Down Under, where he's like the sidekick to Grayson Waller. Austin Theory.
That's crazy to me that shit with that match with John Cena did absolutely nothing for him. Just like I said, it was gonna happen. The moment I was supposed to take, like, it did absolutely nothing for that man.
Yeah. I think he's a good heel, but they just don't want to commit to it. It seems like they always want to make him into something else or switch up his character.
But like define good heel, right? You know what I mean? Like yeah, he's a good heel, but it's like what's good at this point with him? That he's what's good? You know what I mean? Like it's getting to that point for me. It's like he's a better heel than a face by default, but then after that, it's like what makes him a good heel? Because he's just doing the same shit at this point all the time, and it kind of just it's getting tiring, it's getting stale, and it's just like at this point it's like what the fuck do you do? And then you split them up and you turn him face. It's probably gonna be worse for him if he turns face. Like it's gonna be worse for him. Yeah. So he's not in a good situation right now. He's really not.
We got Emmanuel who said AJ cooked. That was one of AJ's best promos with that exchange with Cody Rhodes on. He
needed those zingers, to be honest with you. He really needed those zingers, like to bring that promo to the top, because we all know AJ's not the strongest talker, but that definitely helped with that promo. And I mean, AJ's not exactly lying. I'm just saying. Yeah, it was a good exchange. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
good.
I enjoyed it. We got Bala B who has a difference of opinion. He says, I want a babyface theory. He says, dude has a babyface moveset, and I'm sure he can develop a character. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not
we've been waiting for development from him for how many years now, and it's
Too
been
long.
the same. This is not going nowhere.
Yeah. And
He's young.
that's a good comparison by Ninja Mortis. It's like Sammy Guevara has a babyface moveset. He's yet to develop a character that makes him a babyface, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I agree with that. That's actually a good point.
We got our good brother Nate Milton in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Nate. He says, good morning, fam. I feel about theory the way K-Dot feels about Aubrey. Why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in. Oh. Nice. Very nice. Very nice line right there. One of the better lines that K-Dot did to Aubrey. But there's some good news about a certain new member of the Bloodline possibly coming in. Bodyslam.net reported on Monday that Hikuleo, the former NJPW Strong Tag Team Champion, NJPW Strong Openweight Champion, member of the Bullet Club, and Gorillas of Destiny, is likely to be heading to WWE after ending his run with New Japan Pro Wrestling at last weekend's Dominion. It was previously reported that his contract would expire this year, and he's done with New Japan officially. His deal ended after Dominion. It is believed that Hikuleo will take part in the Bloodline storyline upon his debut, similar to Jacob Fatu whenever he debuts. Hikuleo is the younger brother of Tama Tonga and the son of Haku. He basically got into a disagreement with his tag team partner in New Japan, ELP, who hit him with a super kick during the four-way tag team title match at Dominion, and he walked out on both Jado and ELP after the matchup. Fightful Select reports that NJPW and WWE sources told them that Hikuleo has interest from WWE with the belief that he will join the company coming up soon. Fightful Select had reported in the past that Hikuleo's NJPW deal was up in June 2024. He previously had talks with WWE last January, but an informal hiring freeze was in place that prevented them from being signed. He later agreed to a new deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling until the summer of 2024. He actually confirmed this in our interview with him at the start of the year. PW Insider reports that on June 11th, WWE filed to trademark the term Tala Tonga for merchandise and entertainment purposes. The trademark is believed to be for Hikuleo, who is reportedly WWE bound, but that hasn't been confirmed at this time. But another big name. It seems like this new bloodline is filling out very quickly. And, you know, we still haven't got Jacob Fatu coming in. Me, myself, personally, I would think that Hikuleo would do well to go the Solo Sikoa route of signing with WWE, but not immediately going to the main roster. I think that he would do good to go to NXT for like 6 months to a year, not that long, like 6 months to a year, develop a character on your own before being called up to the bloodline. What do y'all think?
I mean,
that is a good idea.
Let them learn like the form of like how things are ran over here, because you can't get it. I know everyone doesn't get it right away because everyone does their stuff different. So just to come here and learn how the WWE formula is, you have to go to NXT first to see if you even will thrive.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the idea. Do I think they do that? No.
No? Oh, okay. Then he's going straight up?
Yeah, because of the storyline. And I think that's the only reason why he would go up. I do agree that he does need like some kind of like development more. So like NXT would be a good spot. But because the way this, you know, they're heavily invested in this bloodline thing, that's basically gonna be his ticket going straight to the main roster.
Hey, and I'm all for guys getting a big paycheck, so I'm not gonna be mad if he goes straight to the main roster.
I mean, I'm not.
So. No, he got. Some people will.
Some people will. I mean, right, obviously, right. Some people will get upset, but then I mean,
they get over
when it comes to Gorilla. Yeah, I mean, hey, you got the weakest out of the Gorillas of Destiny, went straight to the main roster. So I mean, What can you do?
Well, you make points. You make points for. Yeah.
We got Ninja Mortis. It says, "Let's go, tallest Tonga." And we also got a super chat donation from our good brother Valo B. Thank you so much, Valo B, for the support. He says he taller Tonga because he taller than the rest. Get it?
Yeah, I'm not feeling the name. Like when I saw that, I get the trademark, but I'm like, I'm not feeling it.
Stupid. It sounds stupid, to be honest.
I would just call him like Leo Tonga, which was his original name before he changed it to
I would prefer that.
Hikuleo.
Yeah, I mean that sounds better. Like it does sound better. You know, it's just because I got so used to Hikuleo. It's not a bad name. I like Hikuleo.
Yeah. It took me a while to get to pronunciate it and get it right, but ever since I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's a cool wrestling name. It's unique. You remember it, like Hikuleo. I like that. So Leo Tonga, I thought would have been a better kind of middle ground instead of Tala Tonga, which is I think it's his middle name though. So. Not that far. Yeah. And seems to be what WWE loves to do is take someone's middle name and make it their first name in the company.
Name.
Like, hey, he's not using this, so let's use it to make some money.
We got Ninja Mortis who says taller than your mama. I'm coming all the out. Manuel says, I'm just waiting for Jigafot 2. The new bloodline has been meh. I don't agree with that. I've liked the new bloodline and how it's developed week by week on SmackDown. And it is the top draw on SmackDown, despite Cody being there. The one that gets the most ratings every week is the Bloodline.
And then not only that, you also got to remember, you know, they're in a situation where they got to make up for Roman not being there. They got to make up for The Rock not being there. So it's a tall task to ask of like what to do. And I think they've done solid work. For that kind of task to ask for, I think they've done good.
For this time period, I think they've done very well for themselves.
I would say I would say they're better.
I
would say that right now. Yeah, I would say that right now their time period is better than it was this time last year.
Yes. Yeah. I think you see more towards like what's going to happen next, where there was like a expiration date for the good stuff that they were doing at this time last year with the Usos going against Roman and Solo. You knew that was going to lead to Jay getting the shot at Roman, but everybody knew Jay wasn't going to win that.
Yeah. And then now it's just like so much speculation because now you have two more members who are possible, you know, like Jacob Fatu is already signed. You don't know what the hell they're going to do with him because he's been there for a minute. And, you know, they're still waiting on that. And then now this Hikuleo is going to be available, which, I mean, there's no speculation. He's going to WWE. I'm not going to go back and forth. Hey, where he should go. He's going to WWE. He's going with his brothers. That's obvious. That'll be the best scenario. Again, that'll be the best scenario for him because, again, this is his easy ticket to go to the main roster if they go that route. So, I mean, they're doing some great stuff again. If you're telling me, hey, Roman's not going to be here for a while, what the fuck do we do? And they've done well. Like, I got to give them credit for that. They've done well.
Yeah, and they paced it. They paced it very well. That's what I've liked most of all. And especially Heyman. I think Heyman's doing some of his best work of the entire Bloodline story with being the
because he's being a little bitch. That's why.
Wow, say it with your chest, Josh.
He said it with his chest, man. Damn,
bro. Like, tell him why you really
he's being a little bitch.
Tell him how you really feeling about it.
He's scared. We had some big news, you know, with Big Star from New Japan possibly going to WWE, but WWE has been making major moves outside of the company, working with different promotions, and it seems like Japan is their next acquisition, it seems, as following the main event of the June 11th Marigold show, former WWE Women's Champion Io Sky showed up on the big screen to challenge Yatami Hayashita as it seems like we are going to get the big matchup. Marigold announced that Sky will face Yatami Hayashita in a Queen of Queens matchup at Summer Destiny. The event is scheduled for Saturday, July 13th at Sumo Hall in Ryogoku, Japan. The show has already sold 3,000 tickets, which is going to be the most attended Marigold event so far since the promotion started just 2 months back. Meanwhile, Pro Wrestling Noah has revealed that it and WWE will be making a major announcement at Noah's Bunte event in Yokohama on Sunday. It will also include a message from a certain wrestler. They kind of made it coy like that. No other details were provided. The two companies previously worked together as Shinsuke Nakamura wrestled the Great Muta at Pro Wrestling Noah's The New Year in 2023, but some big moves. Cyberfight president said in the past that he wants to work with WWE. Cyberfight president is also the president for Pro Wrestling Noah. So this is a big announcement that should be coming tomorrow. We'll, of course, talk about it on next week's podcast. But what do you think, Miss Krssi Love? Io Sky coming to Marigold to verse one of the top female stars in all of Joshi Wrestling, Yatami Hayashita. Io Sky back in Japan. You'd love to see it. What do you think?
This is great. I see what you're doing, Paul. You're not slick.
No, this is. I mean, me and Jimmy both said it. This is Nick Khan. This has Nick Khan's fingerprints all over it. Triple H will get the credit because he loves to give himself credit. But Nick Khan deserves the credit. Nick Khan. I've said it once. I'll say it twice. I'll say it 100 times from a mountaintop. Nick Khan is the greatest signing in WWE history.
Yeah, because he's now letting these things happen. I think because this whole merger is now they see the possibilities and the money that can be made with venturing and doing partnerships.
Yeah,
the whole thing, the whole point of it is
it was also always his vision, even under Vince. Like this was his vision. Like this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to expand on not only with other promotions, but also like a whole entertainment kind of aspect of things. So this has always been like what he's been wanting to do. And now he has the best opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a good deal. I think it looks like it's going to be insane, but should be really good.
Yeah, and that event with Io versus Yatami is also going to feature Julia versus Saray. So July 13th, man, those two big matches, that makes that like a must-watch show. So we'll definitely be talking about it here on the channel, whether it's, a review or talking about it on the flagship here. So stay tuned for that for sure. And we'll definitely be talking about whatever the announcement is by WWE and Noah coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, though, with these partnerships is that I think if somebody like me, if I'm going to be taking this seriously, I got to see more main roster stuff. So that's why this whole thing with Marigold has been interesting, because they're using main roster people. I don't want to keep seeing NXT people. It's cool, but it's like, who the fuck is this person? You know what I mean? Like I want to see the real shit, man. Like give me the real shit.
You sound like that crowd last night at Against All Odds with Tatum Paxton. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. She did well, but that crowd did not know who she was.
That crowd was dead. But that's what I'm talking about. It's just like it's shit like this, right? Which is cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool to see, but it's just like, bro, like give me the real shit. Like, where's the real people? Like, like bring somebody from the main roster. Like that's what I want to see. Like me personally, it's just like, yo. So like if they're gonna do something with Noah,
she didn't deserve that.
No, like if I'm gonna see something with Noah, don't use NXT people. Use somebody from the main roster.
Yeah,
right?
Main roster. I agree.
At this point, because it's like, yo, right? They're doing NXT stuff with TNA. If you want me to take this serious, that's all I'm saying. If you want somebody like me to take this partnership serious or whatever ventures they're gonna go on, I want, again, like imagine seeing like Seth Rollins on like Noah or something. That'll be insane. Like, and that's the fucking mad scientist shit I would do. But that's just me.
I love Frantic World in the chat. It says WWE's not a colleague, they a fucking colonizer.
That HBK.
HBK. Great stuff.
That's why I called HBK. That's why I called HBK. a few days ago.
He is. He's trying to culture appropriate. We got another super chat donation from the GOAT, Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will.
Especially when you add Sexy Red into all his little promos and gimmicks and little things that you want to put on Twitter.
Well,
dude, you're not black. You never were. Will says, I love how people treat Paul over the years. Punk was like a friend. Brock was justified business. Roman looked at Paul as family with the history, but Solo, he don't give a damn. Yo, Solo telling Paul telling him, hey, if you lose the match tonight, they're not going to respect you as a leader. I don't know what you should do. And he says, if I lose tonight, I'm coming after you. So it made Heyman help him in the matchup. Like, that was great stuff. Because Heyman does not want him to be the leader. He wanted him to lose. That's why he told him that. That's why he
tried to play the mind game. He tried to get in his head and try to make him like lose focus and try to make him lose.
No, that's what makes it great.
And then Solo flipped it on him because Solo's actually showing that he's smart. He's flipped it on Heyman.
He did that Jedi mind trick. He's like, you ain't gonna get me, motherfucker.
I'm gonna get you first. We also got another super chat donation from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck, for the support. He says, damn, 1 minute Samantha is in an ambulance with Ricochet. The next minute she's in Scotland for Clash at the Castle. Had me fooled.
The fact that they keep pushing this narrative of these two that are together, it's a bad formula right now. Like, why do you have to publicize people's relationships? Like, what is the purpose of it all? Because she's the announcer. Like, she thinks she's gonna say his name even longer than she says someone else's name. No.
Hey, it's okay to acknowledge a real life relationship, and they've been acknowledging it.
Yeah. They kind of lead forward into it, so it got to a point that they're just like, fuck it. Everybody knows they're together, so let's just go with it. No, but I do get Chrissy's point, because now Ricochet leaving, it's kind of like it's gonna be kind of awkward. Like, she's there, and then like you said, the man had upper body injuries and he's out for an insignificant time. We're like, I just don't think he's coming back. I think that's just all it is.
Facts. That is true. That is true. But we shall see. We shall see with that. And yeah, she does say Ricochet's name very loud, probably at home. WWE Raw this week. Speaking of which,
I see what you did there. Yep.
Raw did 1.609 million viewers this week. The show featured Drew McIntyre defeated Finn Balor in a good main event to ban the Judgment Day from ringside for the Clash at the Castle title match with Damian Priest. Meanwhile, speaking of the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan further attempted to seduce Dirty Dominic Mysterio by offering her hotel room key to him, which led to Finn Balor somehow getting it and pocketing it, and no one noticed it in the Judgment Day did, except for me and the people watching at home.
I was about to say he took it off the table, because once Carlito said, "Oh, that's cool," and then he's like, "No, it's not," and then he took it away. He put it in his pocket.
Yo, he thought he was.
I seen it. Like,
he was slick.
Yeah, he's like the uncle that don't want you to, try to look out.
Wait, what? What uncle you know? My uncles would be like, yo, get that.
Nah, like the cock blocking one, that one. That,
Oh, cock blocking uncle, yeah. Who wants to hit it himself. This segued into Braun Strowman and LWO beating the Judgment Day and Carlito in trios action after Liv straddled Dirty Dom following Zelina Vega pushing her off the apron and attacking the WWE Women's World Champion. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn got a win over Otis. Post-match, though, Chad Gable slapped Otis to motivate him to attack Zayn, but Otis got in Gable's face following the attack after delivering a World's Strongest Slam to Sami. The aforementioned Io Sky defeated Lyra Valkyria in a rematch from the Queen of the Ring tournament. Post-match, you had Damage Control jumping jumping Lyra after the matchup, which led to Caden Kaden Carter and Katana Chance making the save. And then you also had, of course, EO backstage saying that Damage Control needs to make some changes, which maybe one of the changes is bringing Yatami Hayashita into the group or Julia. Who knows? We'll see. And finally, you had Braun Breaker beat Ilya Dragunov in a terrific matchup in front of the deadest of crowds. Shame on you. Shame on you. That crowd was dead for these guys killing each other. They were having an awesome match, and that crowd was dead as hell. Post-match, though, Ricochet made the save for Dragunov. However, when he was helping Dragunov in the back, that led to Braun Breaker delivering a big spear to Dragunov backstage and brawling with Ricochet into the parking lot, where he tossed Ricochet into a damn trailer, making Ricochet take one of the most wickedest bumps I think I've ever seen on concrete. You don't have to kill yourself.
You don't have
your
to kill yourself to leave. Yeah.
Braun then slammed Ricochet off the trailer steps onto a car window to finish off, and Ricochet was stretchered out of the building with Samantha joining him to head to the hospital.
Again, why does Samantha have to go? Don't she have to do the rest of the commentating job?
It was only the main event left.
Yeah, and it was also a great spot because Pat was fucking hilarious.
Pat was great. Pat was so great when he said, he's like, one big bad bastard from Scotland.
It was funny because Michael Cole was kind of giving him like credit, and then all of a sudden, once he said that, it kind of just like went downhill. He said bastard. He was like, I don't think that's how you do it.
I was like, yo, Pat can't say 3 words without cursing. He can't say
and then he roasted Finn Balor. He roasted Finn Balor.
Yeah. He was like from the bum ass Judgment Day.
He roasted them. I mean, at least it was for the main event. I don't think I could have taken it. Like, if he would have done the whole night, I don't think I could have taken it.
No. But I really enjoyed this episode of Raw, despite the crowd not being the best. I thought it was a really good episode. I think that Raw's been on a streak of really good episodes. The thing that's lacking is they don't have a main star right now.
Right now they're kind of been like, right now I don't want to like they've been stagnant, but it's been a good stagnant. It's not like, oh fuck, 1 week is awful and then the next week is good. It's been solid. You know, and I think right now that's all you can really ask for because, again, like you said, they are missing that star power. So right now, I mean, they're just going through the motions, especially for 3 hours. When you don't have a star for 3 hours, it's kind of a little difficult. Oh, I also wanted to break some news. Chad Gable did say himself that he re-signed with WWE. It was reported. He said it himself. So he did re-sign with the company. So there you go. That's I wanted to get that out there. But the Ricochet stuff, that was hilarious because when he kicked Braun on the side, all these WWE drones were trying to like shut on Sean Ross Sapp, saying like, "Oh, what happened? I thought he was being written off." And then guess what? The fucking car spot happened. And then they had nothing to say after that.
You know, people are always looking for something to like.
Yeah, exactly. They could eat a bag of dicks, but that was funny. Like
okay, I mean,
he jumped off. And no, they should. They do. They deserve it. They deserve it. Fuck them. But I think that freaking spot when he hit the trailer, I thought that was worse than the car spot because the way he landed, I was like, oh, I don't think you're supposed to land.
The way he landed on the concrete, I was like,
I wouldn't be surprised. They was like, just injure him a little bit, just so he don't have to do anything when he goes to his next promotion.
Like really lay it in, Braun.
Yeah,
that would be the ultimate pettiness.
He wants to leave. Okay, we'll let him leave. Not before you get in letting this happen.
You know, it's funny too. So, like on Instagram, I also had another viral video where I used a clip from Deadpool 2, where Juggernaut ripped Deadpool in half, and I was like, "That's gonna be Braun Breaker to Ricochet." And this was like maybe like an hour before Raw started. So all of a sudden after Raw, it freaking the video took off because everyone was like, "Oh my god, bro, really called it." Everyone was like, "Wow, that really happened. Wow, that's accurate." But I was like, that was reported, and I'm like, if you're gonna write Ricochet off, the best person to write him off was Braun Breaker because Breaker was being a shut out of him every week. Mm-hmm. So that was like, it was kind of just like best timing. It was good timing. That's the best way to do it. As far as what's going to end up happening with Ricochet, I mean, I've been saying it. I think he should go to AEW. His strongest points is his wrestling, his in-ring work. That's the best scenario to go to. He stays in WWE, guess what? It's going to be the same thing. He doesn't have the mic skills. No. He doesn't have the charisma for him to ever elevate himself, and that's just what it is. So he got to go where he's going to be happy at. And I think going to AEW would make him happy because he'll be with his good buddy, Will Ospreay, who idolizes Ricochet. So I think that would be a good fit for him. I just wanted to get that out there since I wasn't here last week.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a little bit of the reporting about Ricochet this week. As previously mentioned last week, Ricochet gave his notice to WWE last weekend that he was expected to leave the company when his contract expires at the beginning of July. Ahead of Monday's Raw, PW Insider reported that Ricochet was set to have his last WWE appearance on Raw, as he does not have any further dates lined up with the company. Addressing the report surrounding Ricochet's departure from WWE being up in the air, that was reported by Dave Meltzer. Multiple sources on multiple occasions have said that he had already given his notice to WWE prior to the news becoming public last Saturday. Following the attack on Ricochet by Braun Breaker, WWE announced that Ricochet is out of action due to storyline injuries suffered on this week's Raw. They said breaking after suffering a brutal attack at the hands of @Braun Breaker WWE this past Monday on #WWE Raw. King Ricochet will be out of action for an undisclosed amount of time with upper body injuries. Fightful Select has an update on Ricochet after the write-off. It was reported by PW Insider Elite that WWE's creative team made a pitch to have Ricochet make one last TV appearance to capitalize on all the buzz he's been getting in the last week. According to Fightful, while it's possible that WWE could have Ricochet appear again, since he still has several weeks left on his contract, Ricochet isn't currently scheduled to appear on TV again. That was reportedly the case as of Monday, June 10th. Since it appears Ricochet is still under contract for several more meets, WWE could call him up and appear on TV again if they deem it necessary. Ricochet leaving it also raised some questions in regards to WWE ring announcer and his fiance, Samantha Irvin, who is engaged to Ricochet in real life.
Here they go. Their relationship. Irvin should still get like the fuck. I'm sorry.
Their relationship has been acknowledged on air several times. Ricochet leaving has led to fans questioning.
Oh my god! Like what a scene.
Questioning if Irvin would follow suit. Fightful notes that the remaining length on her WWE contract is unknown. However, Samantha did travel to Glasgow, Scotland with the WWE crew this week for Clash at the Castle, and Ricochet did not make the trip overseas. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that while he has not signed a new contract with WWE, Ricochet is reportedly didn't make up his mind about what he wanted to do until last weekend. There was a strong belief he was leaving, and he came to that decision on June 9th. The angle with Braun Breaker to write him off was then done on Raw the next night. It's still unknown what Ricochet plans to do if and when he leaves WWE. There were some questioning the angle with Breaker on Raw and WWE's commitment to it during the week. It was suggested the angle was done in a way that could allow Ricochet to come back for revenge, and some found it odd WWE would do it that way if he was leaving. His contract isn't expired, so if he did decide to stay, he'd have an angle ready to go. It was done to give him something to do if he changes his mind. WWE had ideas for both his return and his exit, although the belief is still that he's leaving. So it is still an option that Ricochet could change his mind and re-sign with WWE. WWE would probably give him a big money contract just to keep him away from AEW at this point. But what do you think, Miss Krssi Love? Where should Ricochet sign after his WWE contract expires?
AEW, friends. We had this conversation last week. And I'm happy that he will be able to flourish and do things that he wants to do. Please stop bringing Samantha Irvin in this thing. They ain't got nothing to do with her. Like, this is about him. Like, I know that they're together. I get it. I know that. Why do we? This formula is like a recipe for disaster. Stop trying to insert people's couples relationships into the TV screens of these matches. We don't need that. Sorry. It's not necessary. Let her be her own person. She's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I told John Escudero from Dirt Sheet Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I said straight up, they treat Samantha better than they do Ricochet. So why
they
would
do? So like, why are we even like having this conversation about her? Like, I mean, about him basically. Like, let this be about him. Why are we bringing her into this? Like, it's not necessary. And they do treat her way better. Like, she gets more like clout than and a recognition that he does. And he was there longer.
Yeah. I agree with you out there, but you know they're always gonna pair these people up. You know, it's not like Malachi Black works in AEW all these years, and Zelina's in WWE, or we had Andrade working in AEW while Charlotte Flair was in WWE. We also had Miro in AEW while Lana was in WWE.
But you know what's crazy though? Like you bring that up, right? Like you just brought that up. You know what's crazy? Like people were saying that. People were like, "Oh, that Ricochet is not gonna leave, because Samantha had something to say." And I'm just like, "What the fuck that has to do with anything?"
Andrade was married to Charlotte Flair. Hello, he left the company. He went back.
No, but it was just weird. It was a weird scenario because remember when we asked? Remember, I think it was like on Twitter when they asked. Somebody was like, "Oh, not if Samantha has something to say about him." I'm just like, "What the fuck is she gonna say?" And then honestly, if she's gonna dictate his career,
right,
that's not gonna work out for that relationship.
Nope.
Like that's just you don't do that to another man.
Listen, before he was with Samantha, he was with the other girl. What's her name?
Oh,
oh
no.
There you go. He was with her. Did he?
Oh yeah, he was with her, but then before that, he was with the person that you don't like very much. I mean, yeah.
Really? That says a lot about Ricochet, huh?
Oh yeah, there's something about Ricochet that's very questionable, but that's another story for another day.
Friend, you might as well elaborate more. You think? Okay.
No, I'm not gonna go that rabbit hole right now. I'll tell you probably after the stream.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think I might know what you're talking about, but okay. Yeah. Is SP frozen? Because his face been like that for quite some time now, and he hasn't really said anything since we've been talking. So just want to know, like, is it just me, or is it you see the same thing, Josh?
No, I see the same thing.
Just wanted to make sure. I think SP is should we remove him out of the stream and then have him come back?
See, yeah, he definitely frozen. He definitely
John,
frozen.
If you're in the background, remove him. Get him out of, send an SOS. A smoke signal over there. There we go. I think that's him.
I mean, it's not really surprising. I mean, like he dated Tessa Blanchard, right?
I'm now you're telling me this. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know?
No,
yeah,
sir.
He was with Tessa. Yeah, he was with Tessa. He was with Tessa Blanchard for a while. Like legit. Like they would travel together, book the same shows and everything. And then I don't remember when they split. I think they split before he got to WWE. But yeah, they were together. Yeah, they were together for a while. He said, so yeah, I mean, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to go on this rant.
No, it's no rant, no necessary. I mean, that's his, just know that his track record with women, like he likes to like be with them for a minute and get engaged, and then he leaves them. So
yeah. I think with Tessa, I don't think they were ever engaged. I don't think they ever got that far in their relationship. But definitely. They were
sorry. Guys. Yeah, sorry. I was stuck in an alternate universe. I just saw the squiggly lines going around, and I was like, "Yeah, that's definitely me. It's not them."
Because as we're speaking, it just became more and more apparent that SP is just not really either engaged in our conversation or he's just frozen. And then we realized,
y'all brought up Tessa Blanchard, so yeah, I had to go.
Yeah, see.
No, I'm saying I wasn't trying to. That's why I was like,
right. He really didn't want to, but I already had put two and two together already. Once he said this person I don't like, we already clearly know who that is. So it's like,
I was like, yeah, you don't like the person very much.
No
I
worries.
love that. Yeah.
Fine.
They took me to the upper room for a bit there. But I am back. Thankfully, I am back. But yeah, I think I am with you guys. I think that the AEW route is the move for Ricochet to go because he has a money-made matchup for Wembley Stadium for All In with Will Ospreay. He has a dozen different dream matches, and he can make as much or probably even more than he was making with WWE in AEW.
For sure. Absolutely. He definitely can negotiate a good deal for himself.
Yeah.
And
then in regards, and in regards to Ricochet, because I know people have brought it up about like, oh, star power, oh, he's gonna be a mid Carter. At the end of the day, I mean, wherever Ricochet goes, Ricochet's not gonna be that guy. He's not gonna be a face of a company. He's not. That's just what it is. Now you could say, yeah, maybe in TNA, but I think if he goes to TNA, that would be a downgrade at this point. Because of where how many years he's put in the WWE, that'll be an instant downgrade in my.
And it's like, why are you leaving when your company is already doing work with them?
Yeah, and then also because again, there's a lot of people in AEW who idolize Ricochet. Like again, Will Ospreay being the biggest name, and he's gonna find every way possible. Ospreay's gonna find every way possible, not only to bring Ricochet in, but he's gonna find every way possible to make that match happen at Wembley.
Yeah,
I agree. 100% agree with you there. And we talked about it with Seth a couple of weeks back as well, and he said the same thing. As previously reported, we talked about it earlier. Chad Gable has said that he's resigned, but there was news throughout the week about him. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that the belief right now in WWE was that he was going to stay with the company. He's currently getting the biggest push of his career on Monday Night Raw. There were people in All Elite Wrestling pushing for him to go to AEW, including FTR, but it was reported last week, like we talked about, he received an excellent offer from WWE, which of course he announced earlier today that he has re-signed with the promotion, and it just makes a world of sense. Like I said, I've been really enjoying Raw, mostly because I feel Raw has like 3 of my favorite stories going on in WWE. Outside of the new bloodline on SmackDown, my other 3 best things on in WWE right now is Braun Breaker's Path of Destruction, Liv Morgan trying to seduce Dominic Mysterio, and Chad Gable, the self-righteous, overbearing coach of the Alpha Academy. Those are the 3 best stories going on, and it's all on one show.
I like 2 out of the 3. Thanks.
Yeah, and
what do you not like? You don't like Chad Gable?
No, I love Chad Gable.
Okay, as long as not Chad Gable.
Yeah, I think Gable. I mean, I said it too.
You should really guess that
I think he's staying.
Easy.
I said it too with Chad Gable. I said it too. I was like, yeah, he's staying in WWE. Would I like him in AEW? Sure, but he's not.
What are you gonna do with him after? What is he
exactly. That's why I'm like, he goes to AEW. I mean, what's gonna happen? Like exactly.
What's going to be
that's why
whole gimmick? Like what he's going to do? He can't get to do the same thing. Like, will he be healed?
Yeah. Not only that, but I also don't think, and this is just me speculating, I don't think he would have been a top priority for AEW. So I think WWE was going to offer him the best deal no matter what. In that aspect, I think they're going to put more aspect to Ricochet than they would Chad Gable, as in like negotiations, as in like, all right, I'm gonna give you more money here. I just don't think Gable was in that situation with AEW to begin with. So WWE was the best scenario for him.
1000%. Yeah. It just made a whole bunch of sense, especially with what they have going on story wise with him on Monday Night Raw, where he's been one of the best heels in the company.
Yeah.
And the way he's been doing it too is kind of like manipulating. Like he's manipulating the situation where these motherfuckers know what he's doing is wrong in his group, but then they're like, I can't leave. I can't leave him. I can't leave chat. I don't know what to do. I gotta follow.
Yeah, I loved what Otis said on Monday, bringing up, and this is once again Triple H kind of respecting us that he understands. We remember these things. We saw it happen. Otis saying that, when I lost my peach, Mandy Rose, when I lost Tucky, when I lost the Money in the Bank, it was Chad Gable that was there for me. I was like, this is respecting the viewers, which Vince never did.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
He
And I
lost his
like that.
temper,
I like that aspect
the
because
Tucker and
that's what you
everything
need.
too. Yep.
That's what you need. That's not only like that's what you need, but it's very relatable, right?
Yes,
Because
that
like if
part.
you remember
That
all
part,
these bad
yes.
things,
Mhm.
it's kind of like you. That's why you're so invested in it. And Otis is a likable guy.
He
Like
is.
I never like even when he won Money in the Bank, I was surprised that I'm like, oh, they put Otis with the Money in the Bank. That's interesting. But he's a very likable guy. Not only I think he's a solid athlete. I think he's a solid wrestler. But you could see why people like him. Like you can see why the fans are behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it doesn't like insult our intelligence and let us know, like, hey, like
He
these
said
people.
Tucky. No, when he said Tucky, I was like, read Annika's comment.
He did seem really sad. I ain't even gonna lie. He did say, I lost my Tucky. And I mean, like, you lose your partner, like someone that you've been like on a whirlwind, and now like I'm by myself. So it sounds very like true and relatable, like what he was speaking about.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And Bell, I think this is for Ricochet. Bell saying, because of that, there's a part of me that thinks he should go to NJPW and get the best of both worlds because I can 100% see him as IWGP World Champion. I cannot at all see him as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And two, Bell, like I said before, we are here for these performers, and we want these performers to get paid. New Japan Pro Wrestling ain't paying nobody. That's why everybody's leaving. They don't got the money.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? Like because on the same post that I posted, like the video I posted, somebody did bring that like, oh, I would love to see him in New Japan. And then I had to bring up the fact I'm like, no, they won't pay him. I was like, they're not gonna be able to pay him. I'm like, that's why they lost Okada, because they couldn't pay Okada. And I was just like,
that's why they lost Ospreay. That's why they lost Jay.
Yep. And then
also all their major stars.
Yeah, but then also New Japan is they're in a stage where they need that spot. They need that guy, that replaceable guy that they lost Okada with. Ricochet is just not that guy at this point of his career. Like he'll give you great matches, but he's not a guy you're gonna push to be a star. And he goes to that situation in New Japan, is he's just gonna be stuck. Again, great matches. That's what we're gonna get, but he's not gonna get the money that he wants, and that he rightfully deserves. And then also, he's just not gonna get that spot, like that spot that we think he deserves. He's not gonna get it, no matter what. Unfortunately, in New Japan, it'll be cool to see, but it's just I don't think realistically it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And yeah, like, and also Valabi making a good point. He's also not a heavyweight in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
like there's certain guys like the Ospreys, the Shingles that they moved up to the heavyweight scene, but someone like Kushida came back to the company and they still wouldn't push him as a heavyweight. They still keep him in the junior heavyweight division. But final note before we get into NXT this week, a new QR code aired on this week's Monday Night Raw for the Wyatt 6 faction that led to a countdown clock. The code aired during Rey Mysterio's entrance on Monday's show, and the journal entry read, consequences, I reached my hand, offered salvation, they buried their heads in the dirt. Pathetic. Hide while you can. Soon your eyes will boil as you witness what we have become. The prophecy fulfilled. The sky turned to blood. Do not fight it. Drown in your own atrophy. There was also a countdown that is set to end on next week's Monday Night Raw. This coming week's Monday Night Raw, June 17th. PW Insider had an update on the group that is behind the mysterious QR codes. The group is expected to film some of them this week in advance of their debut. As for when that debut is, it could be as soon as Monday's episode. The group is expected to continue a form of the Bray Wyatt story with several different people involved. At this time, the group will consist of Bo Dallas, likely as Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Loomis. It's unknown how many, if any, will be playing new characters at this time, but we're finally going to see the payoff for all these QR codes, it seems, this Monday. Krssi Love, you don't sound happy about this at all.
I'm like, how long have we been waiting for this? Like, this execution better be good. It better be good. Like, I'm just saying, like, if we've been through, like, we've been seeing barcodes and all this shit for, like, how long now? I'm like over it, and I didn't even see it. It better be good.
It's gonna be all about
I agree.
presentation. I think the presentation will be cool. It'll be cool to see them, but then
How long
it's
is gonna pool gonna last us?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the biggest point when it comes to like what's gonna happen from here. I remember somebody suggested, "Oh yeah, he should feud with Cody first." I'm like, bro, you want them to be buried all of a sudden right away again? The same scenario all over again? I don't want that for them.
No, thank you. No.
Like, you know, and that this is a big thing, even on the personal level. This is a big thing for Bo Dallas. I mean, this is a tall task to ask from him. He's replacing his brother, you know, and knowing him, he's going to try to live on his legacy in the best way he can. So this is pretty big on a personal level for Bo.
If anything, what's the name taught you? What's the guy from AEW that just his brother passed away? What's his name? If he taught you anything, he can show you like how to wrestle and still kind of like put your brother's memory like, you know, on your shoulder and still like do something really, really good.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he looks. Like, is he gonna look like the Black Phone Uncle Howdy look, or like what they're gonna do? Like, it's gonna be interesting. I look forward to it. I want to see what they do.
Yeah, I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy, but I think that it may just peak with the debut. Because
it could be, and I agree with that. I mean, it's.
Thank you, friend Mark Briscoe. That's what I was looking to. I couldn't get the name right. Sorry. SP, you there?
I think he froze again.
Oh no. Okay. Well, what time does this pay-per-view start? 1 o'clock, right?
2 o'clock.
Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Okay. Up there it goes. You sure it's not 1 o'clock? Oh, those pre-show.
Damn! As soon as he said, I think it's gonna pick at the debut. I think they probably called on and said, you know what? This guy is being too negative about the Wyatt 6. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
That's funny. We'll get him back on in a few minutes.
There he is.
Let's read some comments. I'll read some comments. I mean,
well, yeah, we could definitely do that part of the thing.
This was mad random. Chris Bay versus Trick on NXT. Oh nah, where's this coming from?
Right, Ninja Morrison. Yeah,
I was just reading that. That was mad random.
Yes, I'm gonna try to.
That outfit from NXT. My God, what was that? Ugh.
Well, we'll talk about NXT next year. NXT, we had Battleground last Sunday. The show featured Roxanne Perez defeating Jordan Grace in an excellent encounter to retain the NXT Women's Championship after a distraction from Tatum Paxley and a surprise appearance from TNA's Ash by Elegance. You also had Trick Williams. He beat Ethan Page to retain the NXT Championship in the main event. Meanwhile, Obafemi defeated Joe Coffey and Wes Lee in a great triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. You also had Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They beat the OC in a good match to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. And also you had Lola Vice picked up the win in NXT Underground over Shayna Baszler via referee stoppage. Kalani Jordan Meechin, Jada Parker, and Meechin, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, and Sol Ruka in a fun ladder match to become the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. And then moving on over to NXT on Tuesday, you had the undisputed as he let Trick Williams know that there will be a 25-man number one contenders battle royal to determine who will face him for the title at NXT Heatwave coming up show. And the matchup will feature stars.
Oh, he just left mid.
Right, it's mid sentence, yo. Oh man. Wait.
Yeah.
SP.
Oh boy. There he goes. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Letting you live, friend.
Yeah, I saw. I was
with
like, oh
JC
no.
Jane,
I was like,
Jasmine Nix.
there he goes.
Hello, am I
He's-
here?
Yep, there you go. Just came in mid sentence. No problem. Go ahead.
This led to a revolving door with a whole bunch of competitors coming out to interrupt Roxanne Perez. You also had Cody Rhodes had a confrontation with all the former AEW stars that are currently in NXT, like Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, and Lexis King. You also had Michin picked up a win over Jada Parker to set up Michin as the #1 contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And Dallas beat Wesley and Newcastle Republic in a super fun trios matchup. And Lexis King beat Dante Chen in a hard-hitting Singapore cane matchup, while Shawn Spears defeated Javon Evans in a good main event as well. But NXT Battleground into NXT this week. Josh, I know you have a lot to say about Battleground. The floor is yours.
I mean, what I said about Battleground, what was it? What I said? Oh, I said it was like a microwave meal that needed reheating, and I still feel that. I still feel that way about Battleground, because, and the reason why I said that is because Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels been feeling himself. He's been feeling himself a little too much, to the point that I'm just like, bro, you like try to oversell yourself for this mediocre ass show. That's how I took it. I'm just like, show wasn't that good. For what? And I'm saying that it wasn't that good for the hype that it was, because they overhyped the shit out of it, right? Oh, Jordan Grace is coming on. She's gonna face Roxanne Perez for the title. Ethan Page comes on. This is his first match, which the main event was mid as fuck. I was trying to watch it, and I'm just like, man, this shit is boring. Nothing happened. Nothing exciting happened. I think Trick is not that good. I can see why he's likable. I could see it. Like, there's potential there, but I just don't think he's that good. The women's match was the title match itself. The women's title match was good. I thought the ending though was kind of like I thought it was pretty, but and then the ladder match, what the fuck was that? That shit was like 12 minutes and it just ended abruptly. Like
it did. The ending was very, the end did end abruptly. I was like, I feel like we literally just started, and then I was like, what's your rationale for having Kalani win? Cute.
It felt like it went from A, B, C to just straight to Z. That's how it kind of felt like for that ladder match. It kind of just felt like that for that match. Again, I mean, I think the show it is what it is.
Red made SB, not SV. Shawn put a little bit of like made Shawn's head bigger than it already was. And I think because she's like one of like the like viral like rappers out, not good rappers, but viral rappers that are out right now. And she brings people, she has songs that people like or whatever. So it made him like feel like, oh my God, I'm really the man right now that I made this shit happen.
It's funny that you say that. That's how it felt like. Like it really did feel like that. And again, I just think, yeah. And I think
5-course thing, I was like, this is a cute little like thing, but there's no way that you thought that show was 5 courses. No way. No way.
It wasn't, and that's all I was saying. When I mentioned the show, that's all I said when it came to that. Like I was just like, bro, this show was not that. But then of course you have those drones that are gonna defend HBK no matter what.
And listen, they can do that. Listen, I'm one of Shawn Michaels. I've loved Shawn Michaels for a very long time. But
if something is not good, you can say it's not good. Even if you like somebody, it's okay to say when something is not good, right? I think that's okay, right? You can like somebody, but if something is not good, you can say it wasn't good. Like for me, I like Ethan Page, and I've always been a fan of Ethan Page, but that match was mid as fuck. So when people try to say, oh, they made him a star already, I'm like, it's the same fucking presentation. It was the same thing. And then I'm like, oh, you kind of probably proved their point because this match was not that fucking good. Like, this was your first match and it was not that good.
And then my next thing is, okay, we get lashed by Elegance, right?
Yeah.
Right. We let her go, right? then just to have her distract Roxanne and
distract Jordan because Roxanne didn't give a fuck.
I'm sorry, to distract Jordan, but then what? Then what?
Yeah. I mean that's leading to something on TNA. It's not leading to anything on NXT.
What I'm trying to say is SP is like, let's make this make sense. Yes, that's something that's happening over on TNA side. You guys got rid of Homegirl. So he was like, hey, why don't we bring Dana Brooke back? But we're not even going to call her Dana. She's lashed by Ash or whatever her damn name is. Lash, Ash, Gas.
Ash by Elegance.
Okay, whatever. Anywho. Elegance. That's the girl. You bring her back and you're like, oh my God, that's Elegance there. And you're like, what? Like, I'm so happy I didn't have it on my main TV because I was like, this is just background noise at this point of this game.
yeah. I mean, I thought that was one of the worst paced WWE shows of the year. The fact that they did a fucking infomercial for a 24 special
that was even worse.
That came out 10 years ago. It came out 10 years ago, and they played it in between matches. I was like, oh, I totally regret,
bro,
staying up till like 2 a.m. to watch this fucking show.
Oh, SP, no. SP, if you didn't have to, like, if you weren't getting paid to do anything, you should have went to sleep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should have.
No,
you should have to sleep.
Not only that, but then in Triple H, then in Triple H, like
in the morning before you did your next next review or whatever you had to do, you could have watched it the following day. Trust me, you didn't miss much. I promise you. You stayed up for no reason.
The fucking top 10 countdown was just fucking stupid. I thought that was like, why am I seeing this? And I think they even had Triple H do an announcement about like SummerSlam 2 years from now. I'm like, why are we getting this? Like, why is this a thing going on right now? That was weird. All that extra shit was weird. The Apex itself, it looked better for wrestling than it does to UFC, but that's an ugly ass building. And I hope that's like a long-term thing. It's an ugly ass fucking building. Like, you see the crowd, but then, like, all you see is lighting. Yeah, all you see is like the fucking walls. Like, you see like the crowd of people like in the lower tier, and then all you see is just fucking ugly ass walls. I don't want to see this. I'm like, bro, I hope it's not a long-term thing, especially like if you're just getting 600 people in. Like, bro, just fucking stay in the other center that you're at for this shit.
And then I feel like they insult our intelligence because you do know that the time that your show started, it's not dark in Las Vegas. So you pre-taped the show.
No, they didn't pre-tape it. It was live, but they pre-taped that footage when they went outside.
Okay, sure. If you want to believe that.
They did the side. It was live. They did the side scan because I know people that was actually at the event. That's what I'm saying. It was live.
Okay,
but
the show itself was live. The show itself was live. It was live. Yeah.
Okay, I know they kept showing outside live in Vegas. I'm like, this is not Vegas because it's only like 5 o'clock over there. Like, knock it off, friends. Like, and then for me, I don't get commercials. You give me all these shitty ass infomercials that I don't even fucking need. Like, thanks. This is exactly why I had it on my iPad and was just watching the other stuff.
Yeah, and the reason why I stayed up to watch it is because I was actually hyped for the show. It actually had expectations to it, and I think that's another issue that it had. That usually an NXT show doesn't have high expectations, but this one did, and it fell short of it. But some news coming out.
You can't even look through one of your eyes. Stop it. And I love you so much, John Michael. It's terrible.
Oh, we got some news coming out of Battleground and NXT this week. Jordan Grace revealed that she has recently done motion caption for WWE 2K25. Grace previously revealed she did mocap for Ivy Now for the 2K series, and she noted in an interview with Denise Salcedo she recently did work for the My Rise mode in the video game. That the release date has not been announced for the video game at this time, but cool to see Jordan Grace maybe in the video game next year. There also was a new report confirming that recent references to Joe Henry on NXT were not coincidental, nor were they improvised. Henry's catchphrase, "say his name and he appears," has been referenced on WWE TV a lot lately. You had Vic Joseph say it on NXT. Meanwhile, Pat McAfee made a reference to Joe Henry on Raw this week when Damian Priest came out to interrupt Drew McIntyre. He said, "say his name and he appears." Fightful Select reports that the reference was a pre-planned one, and WWE has, of course, been working with TNA with Jordynne Grace at Battleground. The site also notes that most of the participants in next Tuesday's 25-man Battle Royal have already been set as of Tuesday evening. The site notes that there were inquiries towards certain main roster talent made in regard to the Battle Royal, and that several NXT talents expect members of the TNA roster to appear in the matchup. A final decision is yet to be made. And so, I mean, I love the fact that Joe Hendry seems like immediately when they made the announcement for the Battle Royal, the fans in the building were chanting Joe Hendry. This what makes the decision of last night's show for Against All Odds even more mind-boggling, but we'll get to that shortly. TMZ reports that Sexy Red was actually arrested over the weekend, the day before NXT Battleground. The recording artist was reportedly arrested for disorderly conduct at Newark Liberty International Airport. While Sexy Red didn't throw any punches in the brawl that ensued after someone was caught taking pictures of her, she was seen standing on, waving around a stand and trying to throw it at people. Red was later released and traveled to Las Vegas on Sunday, where she appeared at the NXT Battleground event at the UFC Apex. It's unknown what sparked the brawl outside of a picture being taken of her. While Red was charged with disorderly conduct, other participants in the brawl were charged with assault. The alleged victims were taken to the hospital to treat minor injuries. And apparently WWE had no idea about her being arrested.
That's some bullshit. I don't believe that for 1 fucking second. I don't believe that for 1 second.
That's fair. That is fair.
I don't believe that.
And then you had finally TNA Impact, and Against All Odds, TNA Impact featured the Nemeth brothers picking up a win in a good main event over the ABC. You also had Mike Santana beat Zachary Wentz in a solid opener to the show after an assist from Steve Macklin. The System visited the Hardy compound, where Lord Wolfgrain made Eddie Edwards transform into an American werewolf. Queen Rebecca chopped off Alicia Edwards' head. King Maxwell haunted Brian Myers with skeletons from his past before giving him a leg drop off a ladder. And Broken Matt threw Moose into the Lake of Reincarnation, where he transformed into his football version and gave him a twist of fate that led to the System waking up from this acid trip. TNA Against All Odds last night to show
that was weird as fuck.
Moose defeating Broken Matt Hardy in a wild Broken Rules matchup to retain the TNA World Championship. Aforementioned, like we said earlier, post-match, Jeff Hardy made his return to a massive pop to help the babyfaces fight off the System to close the show. NXT's Tatum Paxley answered the open challenge of Jordynne Grace in a very good matchup between the two ladies, with Grace retaining the TNA Knockouts Championship. Post-match, Ash by Elegance tried to attack Jordynne Grace, but Grace got the final laugh by pouring champagne all over her rival. The System defeated the Nemeth brothers to retain the TNA World Tag Team titles thanks to interference from Dirty Dango. They also had ABC defeated Team Canada 2.0, Eric Young and Josh Alexander, in an awesome tag team matchup. In the most mind-boggling decision of the whole entire night, Frankie Kazarian defeated Joe Hendry with brass knuckles. Why? I don't know. Post-match, Ace Steel made the save for Hendry and punked out Kaz. So in the end of this, they put over Ace Steel, a non-wrestler. TNA. PCO beat Rick Swan. Post-match, Steph Delandard accepted PCO's request for a date. Mike Santana and Steve Macklin picked up a win over the Rascals in a super fun tag team opener. And Mustafa Ali defeated Trent Seven in a great match to retain the X Division championship. So there was some really good stuff on the show and some mind-boggling decisions. Like, why would you have Joe Hendry lose when he's your biggest and hottest star in the fucking company? Why?
To Frank Kazarian. TNA.
TNA. Jesus Christ, TNA. Why? I don't like I was so pissed. I literally was like, am I watching 2010 TNA? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And even the episode itself, that was the part when I saw Eddie Edwards turn into a werewolf. I posted a clip from the 1985 film Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. I was like, this is how he transformed. This is how he transformed to the wolf.
It's like so goofy. I'm okay with the broken mat stuff, but like it's just
funny,
like,
but it's like at the same time, it's just like okay.
Not necessary.
It's just weird.
Not at all.
It was just weird.
You don't need
it was just
tell stories. You don't need these things. I've said this
maybe
already.
Maybe that's why AEW didn't use it that much. They use it for like that one match, but that's why they never did it.
Yep, pretty much. But in other news, Scott D'Amore has been someone that's been mentioned to possibly be working maybe to go to WWE or AEW, but that is likely not the case. It was reported this week, I believe it was PW Insider, that they noted that after being asked in an interview, Rhino mentioned that Scott D'Amore has a non-compete and is not able to go anywhere until next February. PW Insider notes that Scott D'Amore, that those comments are accurate, and Scott D'Amore has a non-compete clause, which is preventing him from working with a national wrestling promotion in the United States or Canada until February 2025, and TNA Wrestling is still paying Scott D'Amore for his time off, despite letting him go in February. It's worth noting D'Amore works with Boulder City Wrestling, and they will be running their first event since his exit from TNA this weekend. So, Scott D'Amore, man, he making all the money, making all that cheddar. Sit home and make all that cheddar whilst TNA makes these dumb decisions like jobbing out.
I mean that's cool, but then I was like, God damn, February of next year? That's a long ass time. So because he got fired like back in February, I'm like, damn, that's about a year. Like, motherfuckers get 90 days. He got a year. He got to wait. Mercedes didn't have to wait that long with her WWE buyout. She didn't even have to wait that long. She waited 6 months.
They probably don't want him to buy out. They probably didn't even offer him.
Yeah, that's probably what it was too. It's kind of like one of those. It's kind of like remember with William Regal, like, hey, we'll let you leave, but then there's an agreement that you can't be on WWE television for a year. So I mean, I get it, and I think Scott D'Amore has so much to offer that's why they put that too. Because anywhere he goes, he's gonna. If he goes to like somewhere like AEW, I think he will help them a lot because he has that experience. So I think that I get it, but I'm like, that's a long ass fucking time. You can't pay that at least, so.
Hey, make that money, man. Make that money, man. But that is all for what we missed this week. We're going to move on to Krssi Love's favorite part of the show, match of the week, the best of the week, as we're going to give you our 3 to 5 best matches from the week. And I'll continue the trend, and I'll give somebody who had the best week ever and who had the worst week ever. I will start with that. Best week ever, I will go with... let's see. I'll go with Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland was the main character on Dynamite this week, and it finally felt like he was the guy for AEW this week. So he had my best week ever, and worst week ever, Ricochet, after that fucking bump on concrete. And Joe Hendry, because he's the hottest star in the company, and he's losing to Frankie fucking Kazarian. What's going on? So co-worst of the week. Josh?
I'm going to go with Swerve. Because I do agree. I like the formula of starting with Swerve, ending with Swerve. And then even when he was in the crowd sitting down watching the match, like they made him feel like important with the title and everything. So good week for him. I hope they build off of that more. I want to see more of that. He's the champion. He's the face right now. Go with that. Worst week, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Joe Henry. Especially all the hype. Everybody wants to see him in that 25-man battle royal, and then he loses to Frankie Kazarian. Yeah.
So stupid.
You see how bad that sounds? Like, you hear how bad that sounds, right? He lost to Frankie Kazarian. Like,
so stupid. He should be the challenger for Moose at the next pay-per-view, and he's instead losing to Frankie Kazarian. Krssi Love, worst and best of the week.
Best swerve, worst Trick Williams wearing that terrible ass outfit on NXT.
I would. Yeah.
And MCAS, I purposely did not bring up Cody being invited to the cookout by Trick because I feel like there's been too much fucking discourse about that from white people who don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh god, that was the worst.
Or Mexicans from California who don't know what the fuck they're talking.
Bro, what made it worse too was the soundbite of it. He's like, "Yeah, I guess they do a cookout for the NXT fans at the PC." So apparently he was invited to that. Yeah. What? That's not what he meant.
Nope.
Not at all.
So yeah, that's my picks of the week. So yeah, Turbo. I was like, do he have on like? And then I was like, looked like it was two sizes too small. I was like, Trick, come on now. So it looked like it was meant for Lash Legend, not you.
You wearing your girl's clothes, like what Roman said to Seth. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much. He was trying to be Seth Rollins, and it didn't work.
And now my matches of the week, I got 5 for you this week. So number 5, like I said, I love the walking on Legos with no shoes. So I go Hiromu Takahashi, Jun Kasai versus Minoru Suzuki and Takayuka Yuki from Despe Invitational. Number 4, I will go with the All-Star Trios matchup from Dynamite with Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly versus Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Roderick Strong. Number 3, I will go with from Battleground, Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace. Number 2 for me, I'll go with Ilya Dragunov versus Braun Breaker from Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. And number 1 this week, this is like by a large margin, Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix from Dynamite. Krssi?
I only have 3. I didn't watch much of shows, but I just saw mostly highlights and watched recaps. So 3 is Jordan, Grace, and Roxanne. 2 is Ilya versus Braun. Love the finish and how everything went and looked amazing. And then number 1, of course, is Will Ospreay and Rey Fenix. Right? Yes.
Josh?
Number 3, go Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov. That was really fun. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the trios. What was it called? The All-Star what?
All-Star Conglomeration, as Mark Briscoe coined it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, that was number 2, and then number 1 easily Ospreay versus Rey Fenix. Those guys killed it.
MCAS, you're probably a Mexican from California that got the reference, so that wasn't towards you. Don't worry.
He said, "Hey, I was."
Don't you worry.
See, once people start acting like they get it and they're like, no, this is not for you, friends. We're talking about people that don't understand it, and they're using it in the wrong context and terms.
You know, it's funny that he just put that.
You're not supposed to do these things. This is why we have these kinds of talks, because you swear that you're down, but you're not really down. And then when you have to kind of pat you on your shoulder, I'm like, no, friend, this is what it is.
You know it's funny. When he highlighted that comment of the dude that said he's a Mexican from California, that reminds me of that clip where there's a guy interviewing people. He's like, "Oh, is it okay for Mexicans to say the N word?" And I think when he said it, I think the black dude looked at him and then gave him a hug.
Oh man!
Oh yeah, I like the Annika. Sorry, the Shayna and Lola too was really good.
Yes, That was a good match. I didn't think it was as good as their Queen of the Ring matchup.
No.
That's why it just missed out on my list. But
No, but
yeah.
it's still like
And
it's still as good.
Yeah, and the Shayna Baszler lost, like the way she lost was like how she lost. Yeah, and the way Shayna lost too was like kind of the way her MMA career ended, to be honest with you. Because she, I mean, and it ain't no shot to Shayna Baszler, but it did happen. She went 0-2 in her UFC run, and it was one of those things where her career was winding down. That's what that kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. All right, guys, this was a nice shout of Ali and Trent Seven. So I really enjoyed that one as well. But let's rapid fire go through tomorrow's NJPW Soul event. They have a bunch of matches. Kickoff match between the Young Lions. They got a couple of multi-man matches, including a big 10-man tag that they're going to feature some of the older yard, like Kojima making his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. You also got Shota Umino and Bishamon versus the House of Torture, as well as Los Ingobernables de Japón versus Just 5 Guys in tag team action. But we're only going to do predictions for the title matches here. Never Openweight 6-man tag team championships, a rematch from Dominion. It's going to be Los Ingobernables de Japón, Yota Tsuji, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi versus the former champions Bolton Oakland, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Toru Yano. I'm going with LIJ. Josh?
LIJ easily.
LIJ.
Krssi? For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors versus TMDK, Robbie Eagles, and Kosei Fujita. Fujita and Eagles scored wins in the Best of Super Junior singles wins over Connors and Maloney. Can they win the tag team titles tomorrow morning? Krssi?
Yes.
I agree with Krssi. I'm going with TMDK because the heavyweights of Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols won the heavyweight tag team titles for NJPW Strong and IWGP at Dominion. It makes sense for TMDK to get all the tag team gold in New Japan. Josh?
TMDK.
Then you got Never Openweight Championship. This will be a banger. If you saw their match at Dominion, expect it to be hard-hitting and physical. Shingo Takagi one-on-one with Hanare. I feel like Hanare could be the one to dethrone Shingo, but I don't know. I don't want Shingo to lose here before he faces potentially Bryan Danielson at Forbidden Door. I'll go with Shingo. Krssi?
Shingo.
Josh?
I'm a lean with Shingo. I think he has good momentum. You keep it going, especially with his AEW appearance. You keep it going.
For the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, David Finlay makes his return to New Japan as he defends against former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sanada. I'm going to go with Finlay to retain. Josh?
Finlay.
Krssi?
Finlay. Thank you for
and final
there, because sometimes y'all have the graphics and I don't know who the fuck these people are unless you say them. And then you're like,
Sanada looks like he's like the graphic right there. He looks like one of the fighters from like Tekken or something.
Right, like this looks like the video game. I'm about to watch it.
Right? He does, right?
For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, for the first time inside of a steel cage to keep the House of Torture out of this nonsense, it's El Desperado, the winner of the Best of Super Juniors, versus Show. Despe won my Best of the Week last week. He might win it next week because I got him winning back the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Krssi?
I got Show.
Josh?
Show.
Wow, both of y'all going for Show. Betraying Despe. Pro Wrestling Noah Grand Ship. I'm not going to run down the whole card. We're only focused on the big matchup for Grand Ship tomorrow morning, as it will be Kaito Kiyomiya defending the GAC Heavyweight Championship against NJPW's own NJPW Strong Openweight Champion of the Bullet Club War Dogs, Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd has been cutting some awesome promos, shitting on Noah, saying that New Japan's better. Can he walk out with the main prize in Noah, Josh?
That will be funny, but I don't think it happens. I think the champion retains.
Yeah, I'll go with Kiyomiya to retain. Krssi?
Champ retains.
And then finally, in just under an hour, we go into Scotland as is WWE Clash at the Castle. 5 big matches as per typical with these AAA shows. For the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair defend against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks, and Scotland's own Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Krssi, who you got?
I have the champs retaining.
Josh?
Champs retain.
I got Jade and Bianca retaining as well. Things getting interesting now as it's going to be Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental Championship against newly re-signed Chad Gable. Krssi?
Oh, Chad Gable.
I'm going with Gable, new champion. Josh?
I'm going with Gable. This is time to do it. Not even because of the contract. This is a time to do it. He loses too much in these kind of matches. Give him the fucking belt already.
I agree with you there, 100%. For the WWE Women's Championship, Piper Niven, our producer who called her Dewdrop in the tag here, Piper Niven will challenge Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Despite my heart saying I want Piper to win, I think Bayley retains.
Same. Dewdrop will lose, unfortunately, but yeah, Bayley's
Do not call her by her slave name. Come on, what we doing? What we doing, y'all?
I know. I hated Dewdrop. I thought that was the most dumbest name ever. Like, change everyone's names to back to what they used to be. So
and it was an insult. It wasn't even like it was an insult.
Good name, Dewdrop. What? Dumbass name. Whoever came up with that shit.
Bayley retained. Yep.
Yeah,
Bayley retained.
Yeah, I wish Piper could win, but she's losing it at home. It's okay. Zelina Vega lost at home too.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I kind of hate about this shit, where they kind of do stuff like this. Like, Piper was only inserted because of, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, you're not giving there's no fucking real momentum for me to even believe this shit. So it's gonna be Bayley.
In an I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes defends against AJ Styles. Despite Maggie pushing very hard for AJ to try to Styles clash Mama Rhodes, who is in Scotland, I think I'm going to stick. Yes, everybody wants Mama Rhodes to be kind of violently attacked. So Cody says, I quit.
What the
I am
fuck?
not going with that.
That's
I'm
sick.
going with Cody Rhodes to retain. Josh?
What kind of shit was that? Who the fuck suggested that? That's crazy to me. Out of all the things, hey, let me do a style clash on Mama Rhodes. Not even like you could do something else that could torture her, but what the fuck? A style clash? What the? I mean, I'm going with Cody easily. There's people that have been saying, "Oh, age." I'm like, no, it's fucking. Come on, guys. This is WWE. We know how these feuds go. It's gonna be Cody.
Krssi?
Cody for sure.
We got Annika in the chat saying,
"Oh hell no,
AJ win."
You're bugging. You're bugging. You need to get checked out if you really think AJ is winning."
And then finally, Drew McIntyre comes home as he challenges Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. I said it yesterday on our preview. I will say it here again. Drew tries to use the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk comes out, tries to stop him, takes the heavyweight championship away, and he does Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 1997, trying to hit Drew with the title, and instead hits Damian Priest. Claymore for Punk, Claymore for Priest. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre, new champion, and then blows a kiss to Punk as he walks through the crowd and celebrates in Scotland.
Damn.
What you got?
I got that. I like that, SP. I'm gonna agree with you. Let's book it. That'd be great because Drew needs to win. So sorry, Priest.
Damn.
What you had your money bet on somebody else, friend?
No, that is a good scenario.
Okay, great.
Damn. I'm saying like that. No, that's a good scenario because I have Priest winning. I think Priest again. His title run hasn't been bad.
No, it hasn't. But I mean,
Drew and Punk necessarily don't need the title for their feud. at the same time, I do see them, hey, let's do this at SummerSlam, Punk versus Drew for the title, right? Because you want some people to go to Cleveland.
But you got Gunther. That's why a lot of people think Priest is going to retain, because Gunther.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Oh,
You see,
that in the background.
that's some good points right there.
Gunther,
you see,
either one of those guys got to win. Gunther can't lose.
That's true. I'm sticking with Priest. I think Priest retains. I think Punk gets involved some way, somehow. And that's what ends up happening, because I think Gunther is probably going to be the one to become the new champion when it happens. But again, SP3's idea is top notch. I do like that idea.
It's going to be very interesting. It starts in less than an hour, so we're going to give you our outro and get the hell up out of here. Miss Krssi Love, thank you as always for being here. The floor is yours. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
Hey guys, thanks for being here yet again. See you next week at our regular scheduled programming time, 11:05 a.m. here for our flagship show, Tru Heel Heat. Other than that, you can join me on Fridays for bodyslam.net when we do Know Your Role for the SmackDown review. We'll be back again next week. SP and I do reviews now. Well, he did the first one. I wasn't on that review for the Power, so watch that on our other channel. Review that. Are we gonna review who destroyed WCW, friend, or you just don't want to go down that?
Yeah, we're gonna do it when it's over. We'll do the whole thing.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you want to do the last episode, because it's what, 3 episodes, right? Was it 4?
No, it's 4.
4. Okay. All right, cool. That's fun. Yeah. So you watch out for that one. I have a lot of questions and things we can talk about for that.
That's gonna be fun.
Because one week is one way, it sways you one way, and the other week it sways you another way. They know what they're fucking doing, but whatever. Anywho, rabbit hole in itself. Other than that, you can follow me, Krssi Love _1, Tru Heel Krssi Love on X, and just my name. Thank you, Josh. You?
Where can they find you?
You can follow me, JMPunk21, Twitter and Instagram. I'll be on Wednesday for Elite Heat, depending on my schedule. Hopefully, most likely I'll be on for that. And then next weekend I'll be back for Tru Heel Heat. What's the number again? Where number we're at? 282, right? Yeah. There you go. You see, I remember. I'm sorry to remember, because there's a lot of numbers to remember. I'll be on for that. I might not be on for the following week just because I have a busy schedule. I'll be at Undiscoverable Realm Comic-Con. The organizers they invited me for the show. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see, do my rounds, check it out to see, is this a show I could do next year? I've had a good relationship with the organizer because of New York Comic Con. He's met me a few times, so he's invited me out. So check that out. But besides that, I'll be on for everything else. Watch along. I don't know if I'm doing that because it's a marathon. So I'll probably do the review, though. I'll probably do the casual review.
There we go. I'll be joined by Josh tomorrow at, I believe we're doing 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, because that's 6 p.m. here. I get a whole morning and afternoon with my family for Father's Day before they lose me for 2 hours to talk about wrestling and scream.
Understandable.
Yes. But yes, follow us on the Twitter machine, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Krssi, Monday for the Power review.
You said
so
1.
Monday. Yeah, Monday 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. Join us on the Tru Heel Heat Sports Entertainment YouTube channel as we'll review Power Book 2 Go Season 4 Episode 2. So go over there and subscribe right now, and check out all the great content we got on the channel. AE Ramble, our Dominion review, our Clash at the Castle preview. Before the show starts, check it out over with me and Maggie talking all about today's show. But until then, for Miss Krssi Love, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 281, Broken Puma Blood. We are signing off until next time.
Later.